I recently got one of those virtual reality sets into the house, you know, with a mask and the whole... How many of you have done this yet? 1, 2, 7. It's amazing. It's genuinely stunning to me how few people have had a go on this, like whatever. It's genuinely stunning. You put the mask on your head, it's got 2 screens, independent screens, so therefore everywhere you move, it's like perfectly realistic. You put the headphones in, it's like completely immersive. You're in a 360 degree in all direction, totally artificial world. It's genuinely stunning. I think it's going to change gaming. I think it's going to change movies. It is going to revolutionize burglary. It's just, you break into a house and somebody has that on their face, Jesus, relax, chill out, you've got an hour. They're not going to know you're there. There's no rush, you can choose what you want. I like that, but that'll work well in the hall. It's a different game, right? And the weird thing is, as you saw there, not everyone's having a go at this. This is a genuinely transformative entertainment technology, and not everyone is using VR, right? And one of the quiet reasons that no one's talking about it, the reason that people aren't using VR is because nobody's using it to watch porn. It seems like a weird thing to do, but in the kind of history of nerdy kind of things, porn is surprisingly important for getting new technology accepted. Porn is the reason why Blu-ray beat the other kind of special DVD in their race a few years ago. Porn is the reason that sometimes video streaming software beat other kinds of video streaming software. The stuff that gets used for porn has a place immediately in the market, right? And nobody is using VR for porn, right? And I'm not naive, right? I know that men are visual creatures, but I can kind of see, you know, no man, while actually making love, has ever there been going, oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God, honey, this is amazing. Oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Let me just have a quick look around the flat. Oh, that's fantastic, Jim. Oh, that's amazing. Jesus, huge. Is that Corner Singer original now, or did you have a couple of days? But the main reason that people aren't using VR for porn is because you cannot be entirely sure that she's out for the afternoon. And I mean 100% sure, because the stakes are really high. You do not look good in this situation. You do not need your loved one going, oh, I've left my credit card, I better go back in. What is this you're doing to yourself? Yes, I was bringing the kids to my mother's house, but the little one fell in, we've had to come home. But Jesus, this is what greets us. The nightmare is you finish the wank of the century, you take off the mask, and there are 3 police officers just staring at you. Going, do you have no idea what's been happening for the last while? Somebody broke into your house. They were spotted, we were called, there's been a standoff. You've been a hostage for 45 minutes. We've had to close off your road. Sky News have a helicopter slowly circling overhead. Your wife is outside on a megaphone going, stay strong, John, stay strong. And all the time, we've been watching you on the thermal imaging, just battering away at yourself.
As much as you want to save animals, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do it by buying cosmetics. Pretty sure you can't walk into the body shop and buy some burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub, and some little badger somewhere in Scotland is going to go, wow, I feel a whole lot better about my life right now. Somebody's buying that burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. I don't see the point in testing cosmetics on rabbits anyway, because they're already cute. Slather some lip gloss and eyeliner all over them. Now they're all gussied up like some $3 whore. There's no dignity in that for a rabbit whatsoever. You want to test out cosmetics? Test them out on big game, because they stink. Get up under a hippopotamus there and get some roll-on deodorant under his armpit. See how fresh and self-assured he stays all day, huh? Little lip gloss on a beaver. Real beaver. Stay with me, fella. Real beaver. Right? Dam building, log-eating beaver. If he's charged through 60 logs and he's still wearing that lip gloss, that's some damn good lip gloss right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know this whole thing about, you ever meet someone famous and you tell your friends, and then they say, well, what was he like? Because all they really want to hear is that he was a prick. That's why they like to say Tom Cruise is the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I always think, well, if I was making $8 million a film, I'd be nice too. Jesus Christ. But I'm not sure he is that nice. Because I always read these articles about how he's so insular and he's into his Scientology and he, stays at a hotel, won't make eye contact with anyone in the hotel because he doesn't want to talk about the plots to his new films. Apparently, as if staring Tom Cruise in the face, he would just crack under pressure. What are you staring at? Hey, you want to hear about my new film? Ever seen a Tom Cruise film like he couldn't figure out the plot in about 18 seconds? Oh, Christ. He's a cocktail maker. He's a pretty good cocktail maker, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence and can't make cocktails anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better cocktail maker. A riveting piece of cinema that was. Then he's a race car driver. Pretty good race car driver, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence. Can't race cars anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better race car driver. Then he's a jet pilot. Some of you are starting to see a pattern emerge here. Pretty good jet pilot? Yes, he was. Till he had a crisis of confidence, couldn't fly jets anymore. Then I believe he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better jet pilot. Then he was a sports agent. Then he was the brother of a retarded guy. He was a pretty good brother of a retarded guy till he had a crisis of confidence and wasn't so sure he was such a good brother of a retarded guy. And then he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better brother of a retarded guy. Then he was some kind of, I don't know what he's in now, War of the Worlds. Maybe he fights the world. You know what? I bet he's a pretty good world fighter. But at some point he'll probably have a crisis of confidence. You're gonna meet a good-looking woman who convinces him it's okay to fight the world. Could be a Scrabble player for all I care. He's a pretty good Scrabble player. Till he draws all vowels. Has a crisis of consonants. And he meets a lovely Welsh woman who teaches him a lot of words he's never heard before.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's too expensive to be dating right now in this economy, man. All my go-to moves for dating, I can't even afford them no more. I'm pissed off, I used to do the Netflix and chill. That was my go-to move, but that subscription is too much right now. I can't afford it, okay? If I had to downsize, I tell girls, baby, we're gonna have to Wikipedia and chill. That's my new move right now. That's where we read the plot of the movie by candlelight, take it or leave it. Also, bring your phone, we're using your data, by the way. You better be on gift gaff. As you go, you gotta go. Those are the rules, There's consequences to that, though. I had a girl break up with me just because I didn't have money, and she got a new boyfriend. He's a nice guy, I know, because I stalk him online sometimes. He's a really nice man. Treats my girl really well, he really does. He buys her expensive handbags and things like that, and that's when I realized I can't compete, man. I can't compete with that. I never even bought this girl a bag for life, not one time. That's cheap. I'll be in Tesco like, baby, you better put that cheese in your pocket. We're not spending that 50p right there. These gold diggers want my plastic bags. They can't have them. That's my bag right there. I'm not a big fan of social media, man. I'm really not. Because I feel like with social media, when you break up with somebody, you can see what they're up to online. I don't like that. I prefer in the past where you broke up with somebody, you could just lie to yourself and pretend that they were still unhappy. That was a good era. I like that. You just be lying to yourself. You be like, man, she probably missing me all the time. She probably sad, Now you just go on her Instagram and you're like, oh no, she 100% made the right decision. Good for her, man. I haven't seen her smile like this in years, in fact. She's thriving. She's got 3 bags for life in one photo. She leveled up for real, but congratulations to you, baby, when it comes to dating, I feel like the most important thing is finding somebody that you're compatible with, someone you have that connection with. For example, I used to date this girl, me and her got on really well, but there was a problem, and that was she liked dogs, right? Don't get me wrong, I like dogs too, but she liked dogs too much, you know? She liked dogs too much. She used to kiss her dog. That was weird, you know? I don't even know what was weirder. Was it the fact that she would kiss her dog, or the fact that when she did, the dog would make eye contact with me the whole time? That's a weird power play. I said, this dog is an alpha. I don't feel safe in this relationship. This is a toxic masculinity dog right here. I gotta go. I caught that dog listening to Andrew Tate. I said, I'm out of here. I can't do this no more. I've been reading up about that. That's the new thing, toxic masculinity, man. You know, I keep hearing women say men are trash. You know, I don't think anybody's asking the important questions. Are they recyclable? I feel like that's the kind of stuff we gotta ask. Can we make this toxicity carbon neutral? Maybe, I don't know, you know. I like to think I'm a good guy, but even as a good guy, I make small mistakes sometimes, innocent mistakes. You ever been in that situation as a man, a really awkward situation, you're walking home late at night and there's a woman in front of you and it's dark and there's a lot of tension in the air. You can feel the tension, right? Obviously, I can understand why the woman's feeling tense, but I'm feeling tense too, okay? I'm a good guy, I just want that woman to relax, we both go about our day. But apparently, it makes it worse in that situation if you shout out, I'm not gonna hurt you! Like that makes the situation more tense. Sometimes they run faster when you do that. Don't do that, guys, don't jump out of bush and do that. Women don't like that, okay? One time I was walking behind this woman late at night. I know it sounds like there's a pattern emerging. I'm not doing this on purpose. Just both go off the night bus at the same time. It's unfortunate, you know. But I'm walking behind this woman. I was like, I don't want to make the same mistake from last time, shout something out, do something dumb. So I thought it'd be a good idea if I did something non-verbal to help put the woman at ease, okay? I thought it'd be a good idea if I started whistling at night because I thought that would make the atmosphere more jovial. No, it doesn't. Makes it way creepier to my surprise, actually. Especially if you're like me and you don't even know how to whistle properly. So then you're just a guy who's blowing in the wind in the dark, real slow, like. Look like a creepy dinosaur, you can't do that.
You do a thing in the UK called pre-drinks. Pre-drinks, all right? Some people call it prinks, because they don't even have time to pronounce the whole word before they get on it, all right? Pre-drinks, I had no idea what it was. I had to ask my friend. I was like, Dai, what the hell are pre-drinks? He said, Ignacio, it's great. We drink at home before we go out to go drinking. I said, that is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. I said, why would you do this? He said, you know, just to warm up to get ready to go drinking. I said, that doesn't make any sense, all right? You don't do it for anything else, do you? You don't go, we're going to go to the cinema, pop a fucking DVD in before we go to the cinema. It makes sense. Just fire up the old Netflix and do shots of popcorn. Is it made before we go down to the cinema? Craziness. Everything revolves around booze, okay? People in this country start drinking around about 13, 14 years of age. Does that feel about right? 13, 14. Some of you, depending on where you're from, younger, some of you older, all right? I get that. But I came over, I visited as a teenager, and I found out the way it works, all right? I was trying to fit in, and they were like, right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go down drinking in the park, all right? We're gonna go drinking in the park as teenagers, all right? I was like, right, they go, right, we're gonna steal booze from our parents, and we're gonna go down the park, all right? I was like, okay, no problem. So I showed up to the park, all right, feeling like Jason Bourne or something in my backpack, and I think, pull out the stuff, all right, what's in there? They were like, what the hell is Rioja? Like, it's Rioja. Does anyone have a corkscrew, actually? Because otherwise we're going to be for a while. The thing is, like, kids do that, and if they can't steal the booze from their parents, what they do is they'll stand by an off license, all right? And they will wait for somebody to walk past who looks just dodgy enough, but not too dodgy, so they can offer them money and go, hey, can you go in the shop for me and pick me up some beer, some vodka, whatever, we can go down drink in the park, and that person will go get the cash, and then you go there, you get shit-faced as teenagers, it bonds you, okay? It brings you together. At least that was my experience, okay, back in the day. But times have changed, all right? I went to back where my mother's from, okay? My mother's from a little town in Wales called Pontardawe, all right? Don't know if anyone's heard of it. Tiny little town, Pontardawe. Pontardawe is a Welsh word, all right? Pont means bridge, and Adawe means over a shithole, okay? It's not a delightful place to move to from Mallorca, is what I'm trying to say. Right? My mother hates that joke. She's like, Ignacio, please stop saying that. They've taken all of the trolleys out of the canal, all right? Can we... But I was visiting and I was walking to see my mother and I passed an off license, okay? And there's this kid stood by the off license as I'm passing, all right? And he clocks me and I've got my guitar on my shoulder, so he's thinking, this guy's got no prospects. So he comes over to me with his cash, all right? And he was like, hey, could you maybe go in the shop? I'm like, I know where this is going. He goes, can you pop in the shop? I'm like, right. He goes, if I give you this money? I'm like, yep. And he goes, and get me some? I was like, I know where we're going. He goes, vape. I was like, what? He goes, vape. I said, seriously, vape? He said, yeah. I said, what flavor? He said, cherry. I was like, of course, cherry vape. All right, rock and roll. I go in the shop. I'm laughing to myself. I can't believe these kids asked me for cherry vape. How times have changed, all right? I go up to the counter. The guy behind the counter must have thought I was insane, all right? I'm laughing the whole way through the shop. I grab the stuff, pay for it, put it in the bag. I walk out. I'm laughing on the way out. I give the kid the bag. I go, there you go, pal. 20 Marlboro Red and a bottle of vodka. Grow up, you little shit. What is this? Vape nonsense.
All of the parenting stresses me out. All of it. Like right from the beginning, when you're pregnant, you've got to think of a name for your kid. You're like, right, we're going to have to name it. That's tradition. Going to have to give it a name. And it's hard to think of a name for a kid because that's their name. That's going to be their name all their life if it pans out. And I'm an indecisive person. I struggle to think of passwords for websites, and you get help for that, don't you? Like, oh, no, weak. And names go in and out of fashion, don't they? Some names, they can be in fashion, but they don't come back in. We all know those names. And I tell you a thing that's back in fashion now, and I find it fascinating, is virtue names, right? That is back in fashion. Those virtue names is a sort of Victorian notion that if you name your kid after a virtue, they might live up to that virtue. But that's risky business, isn't it? That's hubris. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your son Victor. He could end up a bit of a loser. Ernest, he could become a bullshitter. Grace is an ever-popular name. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your daughter Grace. She could end up a sort of galumphing oaf. Sucking her head on low beams. Falling into crockery at dinner parties. You'd be like, oh, come on, Grace. Do your laces up, babe. Stop farting. Prudent, she'll end up lip deep in debt, won't she? Chastity. Although my son is called Frank. Someone said to me, you've done it, innit? You've called your son Frank. That's a virtue. To be honest, to be above board, to be trustworthy. I was like, oh, shit, never thought of that. He'd end up an estate agent now, isn't he? He's funny, Frank. I think he's funny. I would say that, wouldn't I? Because I'm his mum. He's not funny. My child's funny. Tell a joke. Look at 774 pictures of my child. But I think he's funny, right? I went to pick him up from school the other day. I pick him up every day because they get proper arsey if you don't. They do. They ring you. They're like, where are you? I'm like, TK Maxx. Where are you? Oh, all right then, yeah. So, yes, I went to pick him up from school. And I was late, and I wasn't being very laid back that day. I was running a bit late, a bit stressed. I had my eldest with me. I had my mate's 2 kids that were coming back for tea. I thought we'd just get him and go. He's in reception. I was like, right, we'll just get off, yeah? But the teacher stopped me. She went, can you wait, actually? Can we have a quick chat? In that, voice. So I had to arrange my face into one of those mum pretending to give a shit faces. I said, go on, what's he done? She said, do you want to tell Mummy what you did today, Frank, or shall I tell Mummy? He's got upset now. He's like, you tell Mummy. I'm like, what's he done? What? She said, look, today, Frank stuck a digit up the teaching assistant's bottom. That's not ideal, is it? It's very difficult to know what to do with your face. I was going through all the faces in my phone. She said, we've talked about bodies, haven't we, Frank? And areas of bodies that we respect. I thought now would be a really bad time to go, This is awful. I mean, this is a finger up the TA's... I mean, this is now they're teaching numeracy in primary education now. It's not like, oh, if Frank's got one finger up the TA's arse, how many fingers are still on the outside?
I'm freaking out. So the head hangs there for about 10, 12 minutes. Finally, the midwife says, it's almost here. It's time. If your wife gives one more push, he'll arrive. So my wife went, yeah! Baby went, I put the TV to mute. And I leapt across the front room. And I caught him. And I was the first person to make contact with our son. He was a little boy out, and he was there in my hands, all warm and new. And it's one of the most overwhelming things you will ever do. And I tell you now, I was in pieces. I was in floods of tears. My wife was crying. The midwife was crying. And your mind just becomes a mush. I mean, to this day, I can't explain why I did what I did next. It was so emotional. Maybe it's because I'm Welsh, I don't know. But I went... Well, thank God we hadn't cut the cord. He shot back! It was Junior Bungee. He ended up lying on the floor with all this umbilical cord snaking around the room back to his mother, yards of it. I thought, what the hell do we do now? I needn't have worried. Calm as a cucumber, the midwife walked over to my wife. She put her left foot on my wife's right foot and pressed hard. And just like a Hoover, the cord went... And that's why we called him Henry.
Posting naked or almost naked pictures online to show how confident we are. And in all the comments, other women will be like, you are so brave. Well, I really just think that means not a model. Also, it's not brave. There's no soldier looking down at that picture being like, oh, what a brave lady. You know, a man posts a naked picture, he just loses custody of his kids. And if showing your weird body's brave, then the guy that masturbated in front of me on the subway is very brave. Because he had a real weird body. And he was making weird faces. He might be the bravest man I know. But that's the thing, we're supposed to care so much about our bodies as women, you know? And there's even campaigns that we should love our bodies and be confident in our bodies. Or we could just stop caring about it. Because you know who doesn't care about their bodies? Men. You know what men are? Successful. Men are presidents, men are CEOs. You've never heard a CEO go, I want to get profits up and keep costs down and love me for me. 3 p.m. we're going to have a meeting about how I can accept the fact that I have my mother's thighs. You know who should care about their bodies? Men. You have weird bodies, men, you're gross. Your balls are gross. I've never seen a guy be like, oh, I can't wait to get his pants off and see that weird bag of stuff between his legs. What is it? It's like when you go to a haunted house and you stick your hand in a jar, you're like, please be grapes. Balls seem like a real god whoopsie. It's like when you're putting together furniture and you got a couple leftover screws and you're like, well, those were supposed to go somewhere. I guess I'll hang them from a satchel. Even the name sounds scrotum. Okay. This is how you knew God didn't care about balls at all. Everything else important, he covered in bone. Balls, he was like, let them fly. You are so lucky we get our faces near them. If a woman puts your balls in her mouth, you should pay her a lot of money. And not in like a prostitute way, and like a, I don't know how else to say thank you. This is a very nice thing you just did to me. And you didn't get any pleasure out of it. There's not a single woman that's like, that's what does it for me. You were more of a saint than Mother Teresa for that. There's no way she ever did it. I get one wrinkle, my career is over. I had to put paint on my face just to leave my home. And you guys get to walk around those wrinkly, dangly bags of crap. You should have to put makeup on them. Or at the very least, googly eyes. I don't know if that'd be better or worse, it'd be fun. He's happy, he's sad. He lost his boner. And I don't know how we ever let you guys get away with calling our boobs saggy. Your balls are saggy. You should wear a bra. And you make it fancy. All those women clapping, they meant yours.
I grew up in Dudley, in the West Midlands. Yeah, a lot of people grow up there because that's the only thing there is to do. What are you doing? Growing. In the 50s, my parents emigrated from Jamaica to Dudley. Yeah, Nancy, I'm going to say that again just for you. They emigrated from Jamaica to Dudley. Why? What was my dad thinking? Bloody blue sky all the time. I want hail and sleet and snow. All this joyous reggae music. Where can a man get some Des O'Connor? We need pack your bags, we're going to Dudley. They made me go to church every Sunday. The Pentecostal Church of God in Prophecy. See, that's a black name. White churches are always called things like St. Thomas's. We're all outside going, St. Thomas's what? St. Thomas's Epiphany of the Shining Light of God in Christ in West Bromwich? Now, that's a name. You arrived late for church. Sorry I'm late, I was reading the signs. It's as good as Stephen King. I went to Blue Coat Secondary Modern School in Dudley. A lot of bullying there. I mean, you know, back in the day, it was different as well. You get punched in the face, you keep it to yourself. Nowadays, you go straight to the head teacher. Peter Wilkins has been punching me every day since the start of term. I'm not going to teach him anymore. I got a daughter, 17. She's got a pet name for me. Taxi. Yeah, because the only time I see her is in the car, and even then she gets in the back. I'm like, how was school? She's like, you're not one of those cabbies who's going to talk all the time, are you? Her childhood's different from mine. I mean, you know, when I was a kid, it felt like everybody in Dudley had permission to beat me. It wasn't just my mum. You know, I'd be mucking about in the street, suddenly, bam, Mrs. Fearon from number 14 slapped me around the face. Then she'd drag me to my house and tell my mum, Mrs. Henry, I saw Len misbehaving in the street, so I beat him for you. Do you know what my mother said to this woman? Thank you very much. I have 6 other children, help yourself anytime. We made a documentary in Dudley about my mom last year. My brother Paul said this on camera, no word of a lie. Lynn, when mom used to beat you, we used to think it was really funny. Bastards! Where's the solidarity in that? I'm getting my arse tore up, they're eating popcorn, they've pulled up chairs. Oh, it's not as funny as last week. Mom, work the ribs now, work the ribs. Mom, Harley Shuffle, remember? Harley, Boombaye. Mom, like Popeye, remember? Fabida, 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 fabida. When Mom used to beat me, she always said the same thing. I'm not doing this for me, it's for your own good. What parents are insane? I'm not doing this for me, it's for your own good. All the white people, what kind of parenting is that? Lamar's like, yeah, me too. Oh, man. You know what I'd like to see on television? Jamaican super nanny. Beat him if it's been bad, beat him if it's been good. Beat him to show how much you love him. Beat him till your arms hurt so much. You have to beat him for making your arms hurt so much. She wouldn't mess about, would she? All right, no. This is what I call the naughty cheer. What's that for? You pick it up and you beat him with it. I'm not doing this for me, it's for your horn rotting good.
I grew up loving trains, right? But there's one thing about the trains, other than the fact that I want them to run on time, that I really need them to change, right? And it's this announcement that goes, see it, say it, sorted. Have you heard this? Now, if you those that haven't, see it, say it, sorted is an announcement on trains, which basically means if you see something suspicious, call the British Transport Police. But we all know what they really mean by suspicious. If you see a brown bloke with a rucksack, give us a fucking call. Now, I've never liked See It, Say It, Sorted, because for a start, it just raises fear and suspicion constantly. Second, it doesn't get to the heart of the issue, what they really want us to do, which is racial profiling. And third and most importantly, See It, Say It, Sorted doesn't bloody rhyme. Now, this upset me. I said, right, I've got to come up with some alternative options to reflect the reality of the situation and make it a bit more linguistically appealing, right? So I've come up with two options to replace See It, Say It, Sorted. By way of cheer, you can tell me which one you prefer, okay? So option number one to replace See It, Say It, Sorted. Seen a muso? If so, let us know. Average? Okay. Option number two. Don't be wacky, reporter. Hey! You little racist pieces of... Gotcha! I'm in my late 30s at the moment, and a lot of my friends are already kind of parents of toddlers. Do we have any parents of toddlers in at the moment? Give me a cheer. Yeah, you are the worst human beings on the planet. I hate each and every single one of you, right? Because parents of toddlers nowadays, my God, they feel the need to show that they love their child when they're in public. Like, get on a train, you'll 100% see this. They'll be like, Oscar, we're on a train. Did you bring your bag with you today, darling? I know there are lots of people on the train, aren't there? What's that? You want to press the button even though they're waiting? Don't worry about them. I'll read you a story first, yeah, Oscar? I love you, Oscar. I love you, Oscar. I really love you, Oscar. Fuck off. Understand and assume that you love your child. I don't need to see this performance parenting. Now, I don't have any children. I've got a little nephew. When I get my nephew along, I think to myself, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to be a complete dick in public. So I get my nephew, I sit him down, I say, hello, Ali. We are on a train. Did you bring your rucksack with you today? There are lots of people on the train. What's that? You want to press a button, do you? All the parents shut the hell up. And there's a woman in the corner going, see it, say it, sort it.
I've got the memory of an elephant. I remember one time I went to the zoo and saw an elephant. I was disappointed to find that Dunkirk wasn't actually a biography of William Shatner. I accidentally kicked my dog early and it bit me on the bollocks. My mate said it's karma. I said, no, if anything, it's even more angry. I tell you what always catches my eye, short people with umbrellas. I put on a lot of weight, so I rang up Weight Watchers. I said, it's an emergency, can you send somebody round? And they said, yes, we can, we got loads of them. I was actually thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments at the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace, because they threw her out as well. I was watching TV, the announcer said there's a documentary about the clitoris on the red button, but I couldn't find it. I was in a fancy lingerie shop. I said, are these knickers satin? He said, no, they're new. I didn't know what to get my little niece for Christmas, so I asked my sister what she's into. Apparently at the moment she's mad about frozen stuff, so I got her some oven chips and peas. It's been a tough week. I got myself a memory foam mattress and now it's trying to blackmail me. As a child, I was made to walk the plank. We couldn't afford a dog. I went on a positive thinking course. It was shit. You would be. And it was half empty. The area in a Nando's between the front and back door is called the peri-perineum. What I like most about that joke is that people who know what a perineum is usually haven't heard of Nando's. Ironically, there's only a very small overlap between the two. The doctor told me to lose some weight. I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that sort of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. Old lady names are very much back in fashion at the minute, like Lily or Elsie or Rose, and we wanted something like that for our daughter, but we couldn't decide, so in the end we just called her Nan. So we shall grow into it.
We have a great show for you tonight. We have a fantastic show. Very funny comedians. I know funny. I do very funny. People always ask me who I think is funny. That's the number 2 question I get asked as a comedian. The number 1 question I get asked as a comedian is, have you ever died? Soon as you tell someone you're a comedian, first thing they want to know, oh, you ever died? Oh, what's it like when no one laughs? Oh, tell us about the worst gig you've ever had in your life. Please, relive for me, in minute detail, the worst moment of your professional career. Have you ever really died? It's like saying to a doctor, tell us about the last patient you lost. What happened? With the family crying. I bet they were they? Yeah. People are such ghouls. It's the number 1 question. Have you ever died? Number 2 question, though, is what makes you laugh? People always want to know that from me. Who do you think is funny? And that's a nicer question. That's more understandable. You know, I make people laugh. People want to know what makes me laugh. In the same ways you might say to your hairdresser, who cuts your hair? Or you might say to someone in an Audi, who do you think drives like a cock? I like that joke. It's a short joke, it's a sharp joke, and also with that joke, I get to spot every Audi driver in the room. I can just see it there. Pinched expression on your face there. All right, no need to be like that about it. I've done well for myself. It's a very reliable machine. And the fact that I can tell you're an Audi driver by the expression on your face means technically you've just given a form of indication. So well done. Good for you. Who knew you could do it? Yeah. Have you ever died? Who do you think is funny? You always get asked the same questions. That's what I don't like doing interviews. I love doing this job. This is great. I love standing here talking to you, though. But doing interviews, it's a necessary evil. It's part of the job. I having to answer questions. And I don't even like watching interviews. You'd rather watch a comedian tell jokes than talk about how they wrote them. You'd rather watch a singer sing songs than talk about their inspiration. You'd rather watch a sports person do their sport. You'd certainly rather watch a sports person do their sport. Come on now. Sports interviews can be turgid affairs at best. And then I hit it with my foot. You mean you kicked it? If you like. They're rarely interesting. They're really, and I'm not slagging sports people. It takes a great deal of single-mindedness to excel at a sport to a point where people want to interview you about it. But sports people are famous because they're good at sport, not because they're good at talking about sport. That's why you find a sports person who is good at talking about sport, the BBC will cream their knickers over them. We found a woman. She used to ride horses. That's a sport. And she's quite lively and engaging and charismatic. Put her on absolutely everything! Do not let her out of your sight. Even people I'm a fan of. Andy Murray. I love Andy Murray. Britain should be very proud of Andy Murray. He's done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon. He's an Olympic gold medalist. And he put up with a lot of shit when he was, what, 8th best in the world? Oh, you bloody loser, you. He's done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's magnanimous in victory. He's humble in defeat. And he's a big comedy fan. He's been to see me live. I've met him. Lovely bloke. But Jesus Christ. I cannot listen to him drone on one more time about how he won stroke lost another tennis match. I can't do it. Well, then I hit it to him, and he hit it back to me, and I'm very good at tennis, but he is also very good at tennis. Some days I'm better at tennis than he is, but I think what's happened today was he was slightly better at tennis than I am, and that's maybe why he won the game of the tennis. Oh, for God's sake, man! I'm not very sporty, you can probably tell. I like hill walking. Doesn't really count as a sport. I like hill walking and camping. Proper camping, though. None of your glamping bullshit. Glamping. Derivation of the words glamorous and camping, where you stay in a yurt, which is more expensive than a hotel. What is wrong with you? A lot of people don't realise yurt is a derivation of the words eura and twat. A lot of people don't realise that.
Do you love London? I love London. I feel like London is created by the people, right? Who are just crazy and sexy and ambitious. I got into an Uber the other day, not bragging, and I got into an Uber and the driver, he said, would you like to have the radio on? And I was like, I don't mind, it's up to you. And then he said, well, actually, I make my own music. Do you mind if I put some of that on? No, I don't. And then he put on Drake's new album. I wonder how often it works. I wonder how often there's a middle-aged white woman thinking, oh, well, he looks like Aladdin and he sounds like confidence personified. Pull over and jump in the back, Nikolai. I'm having a good life. I have recently started doing yoga, which is just change. Yes, woo for the yoga over there. Are you a team? I'm new to it. I love it. Yoga has changed my life. It's brilliant. Yoga is my new drug. My old drug was drugs. Which I'm not going to say anything positive about because it would be incredibly irresponsible. I'm not going to say anything positive about drug taking. What I will say is I didn't take MDMA until I was 32, and it was such a relief to know I could be happy. The equipment's broken. But yoga is nearly as good, and there's no downsides. It's given me a whole new language. My favourite new word is namaste. Yeah, it's a very old word, it's very sacred, and it means the yoga has finished now. And then you're allowed to leave. I think that the key to being happy as you get older is self-acceptance. Like, I have to accept things about myself now. Like, I'm 36, I thought I would have children by now, and I don't. In an ideal world, what I wanted to self-fertilise. I wanted to have children that were exactly my genetics so that I could show them to my parents and go, see, it was my childhood, they're fine. Science can't do that yet. And then I had a crazy day last month where I just thought, I'm just going to buy some sperm. I'm just going to buy some sperm off the internet. I've got a good job. I'm just going to buy some sperm. Guys, sperm is so much more expensive than I thought it was going to be. It is tens of thousands of pounds. We are all wasting a valuable resource. 17-year-old me would have been a millionaire if I'd learned how to catch it and chuck it in the freezer. It's a shock. I do think self-acceptance is the key. Like, there's things about myself I don't like, but I just have to accept now that they're not going to change. This is who I am. Like, so for instance, I don't like art. I think art is rubbish. I think lots Lots of people think art is rubbish, but we're too worried of looking stupid, so we go along with it. I think that the worst art form is theatre. Right, okay, I can sense how unpopular this opinion is. Hear me out. I think theatre is diabolical. Look, I do, look, and also, I'm aware, if you are a performer of some kind, if you're an actor, look, please don't be offended. I don't mean being in the play. Obviously, if you're the person in the play that gets to put a wig on and walk up and down and move your arms and project your voice, saying things like, I think you'll find you're contradicting yourself, Alan. But having to watch it, dear Christ. I can't concentrate. I can't lose myself in the story. I know that it's not real because I'm surrounded by people eating crisps. And they don't let you look at your phone. So all you're thinking is, well, how long has it been?
I have realised that the musician I want to be is the drummer from Coldplay. I want to be the drummer from Coldplay so badly because that dude is rich as shit and no one knows who the fuck he is. No one knows who the drummer from Coldplay is. He could be here and no one would know. It could be you, it could be you, it could be you. I'm not sure it's an Indian woman, but it could be. We don't know. I'm obsessed with the idea that this guy has the best life in the world. And I was telling my friend about this, and she tried to tell me something that she was trying to portray as a bad thing. Apparently, he loves Game of Thrones, so he said to HBO, can I be in Game of Thrones? And they were like, yeah, man, you're the drummer from Coldplay. You can do literally anything you want. We'll restart The Sopranos if that's something that will make you happy, right? Now, he is in Game of Thrones. Confession time, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but even I know the Red Wedding is an important episode of Game of Thrones, right? He is in the Red Wedding. Guess what he is doing in the Red Wedding? He is the drummer in the wedding band. That is the extent to which this guy's anonymity is a borderline superpower. He is in the most famous episode of one of the most popular television shows in the world, doing the thing he is famous for, and no one noticed. That is Kaiser Soze shit. And my friend was telling me that she read a supposedly embarrassing story that one of the actors told. One of the actors said that when they were shooting the Red Wedding, he was making small talk with the extras, and he got round to the drummer from Coldplay and said, "Are you a full-time extra?" And the guy was like, "No, I'm a musician." So he said, to the drummer from Coldplay, "Have you played on anything I might have heard of?" To which the drummer from Coldplay was presumably like, have you heard of All Music? Because I'm basically the drummer on All Music. And my friend tried to tell me this, like this was a sad thing. She was like, oh, this guy's in Coldplay, but no one knows that he's in Coldplay. Isn't that sad? No. Because the problem with being in Coldplay is that people hate Coldplay. People hate Coldplay so much. And the people who hate Coldplay don't say things like, oh, it's not to my taste. They say things like this, I hate Coldplay! But what you mean when you say that is, I hate Chris Martin. No one is angry with the drummer from Coldplay. No one has ever been like, oh, the drummer from Coldplay! My life! And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Nish, why are you so obsessed with the drummer from Coldplay? There's two other people in that band. We don't know anything about them either. And you know what? You're right. There's a guitar player and a bassist in Coldplay. I wouldn't know them even if they were here. I assume it's you two, but only because he's sat next to her and I spoke to her already. That's all I've got to go on at this point. They have the exact same life as the drummer, because I did a bit of research into this. Turns out Coldplay are one of those bands where they split the royalties equally. So they have the exact same life as the drummer, apart from one detail. They have the exact same life as the drummer. They have the same level of wealth, access, and anonymity. But crucially, the drummer is sat down. And that is the dream.
This year, I did no lilt February. Thank you. I know, it sounds
impossible. So you take it one day at a time. Did I have any today? No, you're a legend. It gets hard around the middle of the month. You get the cravings. It's called lilt guilt. You're like, oh, I bloody love the lilt. It's the night where you go to the shop at midnight, you kick the doors in, where's the lilt? And they're like, we don't stock it anymore. Like, ah! So you try and make your own hooch lilt, you know, you get a pineapple and a grapefruit, and you add in batteries and a horse's head, and you're like, it's good, but it's not totally tropical. Did that joke in America recently. Turns out they don't have lilt there. So, this is it. This is all I do. Imagine if this was your actual... I go like blah, 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 and you go, ah, ha, 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 money. Can't believe I get away with it. You do actual, proper London jobs. You know, like blacksmith, you know? Farrier. Brunch DJ. The big three. I tell you, I do not trust people who work in offices. I know, right? What are they doing? Nothing takes that long. They're planning something. They must be. Do you know? Do you ever call in to visit your friend in an office unexpectedly? Everyone just shits themselves. They're like, what's he doing here? Cover the screen, lie across the spreadsheet, get him out. Kind regards, warm regards, best. That's how they talk. I've seen the email. Hey. I know what it's like in the real world. Look, sometimes I check in your world. Oh, gross, back to showbiz. And... no, I'm very self-aware of the level of fame that I have. I was in a supermarket recently, and an older lady came up to me, and she put her hands on my shoulders, and she said, you are vaguely familiar. And that is it. I did a gig in Wrexham, and I was at an ATM machine, and a guy cycled by, and he shouted at me, surprised to see you at an ATM machine. And I've been obsessed with it since then. What did he mean? Like, on the one hand, is he surprised I don't have a butler to go to the ATM machine for? No, I think it's the opposite. I think, I'm surprised you have any money whatsoever doing keyboard horse shit. Here's my greatest ever showbiz tale. I did a gig in your Milton Keynes recently, thank you, and I was staying in the Milton Keynes Hilton, and she is the least well-known of all the Hilton sisters. And I checked in after the gig at like 12:30. Room 303 is where this took place. Open the door, TV on in the room. Not that uncommon in the chain hotels. I guess it's to welcome you. But get this, on the TV is me playing the shitty keyboard on some show. Immediate thought is like, is this a service they provide to all guests? If so, no, it's the realization, this is it. I've arrived. And I waltz into the room, down the little corridor with the loo away to the left. And as the room opens out, there is a fully naked man lying on the bed. So they've given me the key to someone else's room. But he is lying there, watching me on the TV. And he looks up. To think of something smart. What I say is like, oh shit, sorry about it. I could have said anything and I'd be a legend. I could have been like, oh, you enjoying this? Ah, no boner. And just walked out of it.
The problem is the builders, my dad's mate, he's a proper geezer, proper South East London geezer. One of those builders that, you know that walk? Just walks like that. His legs like he's got a pool table between his legs. And he walks like that, and also he's got those really thin jogging bottoms. You know, those like grey jogging bottoms that builders wear? I don't know where they get them from. They're so thin, and it just grabs onto anything that's there. It's just like I'm getting stared out by his knob and balls as he comes in. And sometimes it's weirder than him being naked. I don't know why. It's more intrusive. He's like, hello, son, what we got here? I don't know. Everything's... Walking around like that. I reckon I could draw his knob and bollocks from memory better than mine. So he's coming like that, and I'm like, oh, God. I go, do you want a cup of tea? He goes, yeah, I'll have a cup of tea. I went, how many sugars? He went, 13. That's not a cup of tea anymore, it's a pudding. That's an angel delight of a tea bag, innit? 13 sugars, I'd mate sticking it in. It's about £3 worth of sugar. He's only come round for a quote. It's already cost me. I put 14 in to test him. Give it him. He went, it's a bit sweet, isn't it? You winding me up, you know me on 13, you greedy bastard. Oh, type 2 Terry's come round and it's a bit sweet for him, is it? When are you going to do this job? I want it done before your foot comes off, all right? Anyway, I had a Kit Kat in the fridge, right? I thought, right, let's get him back on side of Kit Kat, right? He's into sugar. I like introducing people to new things, see if he wants a Kit Kat. 4-finger Kit Kat. Like, how would you eat a Kit Kat? 4 fingers? I've said that wrong, haven't I? I thought you looked at me funny. Sorry, I said that like it was your name. I meant to say... I don't know what I meant to say. I meant to how would you eat a 4-finger Kit Kat? But I went, how'd you eat a Kit Kat? 4 fingers. Oh, hello, 4 fingers, how's it going? Who needs thumbs, eh? Me to smoke by the looks of things. Sorry about that. Not an ideal nickname for a young lady, is it, really? So what would you do? 1 finger at a time? Is that what you'd... Should we start again? Sorry, what's your name? Anita. Nice to meet you, Anita. Sorry for calling you 4 fingers. Anyway, Anita, how'd you eat a Kit Kat? That's what I was going for. 1 at a time. 1 at a time, right. 1 at a time's a normal approach to a 4th. Got there. Yes. Anyway, 1 at a time's a normal approach to a 4-finger Kit Kat, isn't it, right? I gave this builder a 4-finger Kit Kat. He picked it up, put the whole thing in his mouth at once. Bit into it like he was eating a bun. Dirty ogre sugar bitch. What kind of animal is one popping a 4-finger Kit Kat?
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's done very, very good. Lost the words she cannot pronounce. Lost the words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. Not even a difficult name, his name's Stephen. Notice this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Even if I know his name is my son, it is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume. It's like this. Hello! How are you? Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. Great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go around an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything could be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad. Particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken carne, I made a lamb tagine, I made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love baby curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
We've moved now. We've moved to a place called Pinner. We only moved to Pinner because the estate agent said to us, he said, oh, Pinner is a lovely part of West London. West London. We get Welsh telly. It's not London, it's not London, but it is very nice. One of the things I like about where we live is it's very multicultural. I think that's one of the brilliant things about London. I think multiculturalism is something we really have to fight for. Like the school my kids go to, it was very easy to pick a school for my kids because obviously we just picked the one with the highest ceilings, but the school they go to, it's a really nice school and it's very diverse. Like we have a mum's night out once a month and all the mums from the school go and there are women there from every economic background, every race, every religion, and we have a fantastic time, and the Muslim mums drive us home. Tell you what, it is nice. I had an incident the other day, though. I was walking down the street near where I live, and it was one of those sunny days, one of those days that remind some van drivers that women have breasts. You know, one of those. And I was walking down the street, and there was a van drove up and slowed down, and two guys leaned out of the van, and they were in classic kind of leching position. And I knew they weren't going to be looking at me because I am 44 years old. And in fact, my older friends, when I was turning 40, they said, oh, being over 40, it makes you invisible, right? And I have found, yes, that is true, but the brilliant thing is it mostly makes you invisible to dickheads. So it's not really a problem, it's a superpower, if anything. So I'm walking down the street, these two guys are leaning out of this van, and I see they're leching, but they're looking past me at a younger woman, a woman in her 20s, who is walking alongside me. And these guys do the classic thing. They lean out of the van and they gave this woman a very detailed appraisal of her anatomy. You know, they covered all the main areas in bullet-pointed form, very thorough. And then they went on to suggest what I can only describe as a smorgasbord of activities they felt they would enjoy indulging in with her, were they not under pressure of time to get to the next plumbing job. So they did all this and they drove off. And naturally, I turned to this woman and I said, oh my gosh, are you okay? That was horrific. And she said, no, I'm fine. It happens all the time. And I thought, yeah, it does when you're in your 20s, doesn't it? And we were chatting about how silly it was as we walked down the street. And then we got further down the road and the traffic had slowed down and this van had come to a stop. And I think a few years ago I would have just left it, said nothing. But this year I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be invisible, you know who else is invisible? Ninjas. I'm going to be a bloody middle-aged ninja. I'm going to strike, right? So I went up to the van and I just leaned in and I said, oh, hi, guys. Listen, sorry to bother you. I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you did back there because my son here has been undergoing a very difficult gender reassignment. He's been worried that it's not going that well, but what you did back there really made him feel like a proper woman. Thank you. I was delighted with myself as well. But what was really special was that then the young woman next to me leaned in beside me and in the deepest voice I've ever heard, just went, yeah, thanks, guys. It was a beautiful moment. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. The only thing that could have made it perfect would have been if the guys in the van had said, actually, if your child is undergoing a gender reassignment, it's incredibly insensitive of you still to be referring to her using the male pronoun. But, they didn't do that. They just called us slags.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Let's talk about terrorism. Terrorism... Listen, one of my main issues with terrorism is simple, all right? It's got people that have known me my entire life doubting my credibility, all right? It's mad thing. And I want to let you know, all right? You guys are a little bit worried at the moment. I'll make it explicit for you. I am not a member of ISIS, all right? I'm not, okay? I have nothing to do with those people. I don't follow their ideology. That's because I've got 6 months left on my Al-Qaeda membership. I'm a lot... Where did they go? My gosh, I'm going to get some water, all right? Flipping it. It was a bad choice wearing this heavy-ass jacket, you know what I mean? And you know what, actually? Ooh, squirting all over the place. I tell you what is the biggest threat to Muslims on the face of the planet today, all right? Dehydration. We cannot carry around clear liquids in a bottle anywhere, all right? Dying up here on this stage, dying in airplanes, stressing me out. But the thing about, listen, hey, can I pop this here? Bro, can you have that? Thank you, my G. One of the worst things about terrorism is how it's got people doubting my credibility. People I've known my whole life, all right? I want to give you an example. I've got a neighbor, okay? She's called Maud. She's known me for 27 years. And because of the media narrative, the way that the media portrays Muslims, minorities, Black Lives Matter, the world is very divisive. Who in this room just wants to live and get along? Make some noise. Exactly, we all want to, all right? But the media has got people doubting me, all right? So I've had my neighbor 27 years. We've got it's a nice, simple thing. It's a neighborly thing to do, all right? A regular Friday wheelie bin ritual. We grab the wheelie bin, drag it down to the end of the driveway, have a quick natter, go back in. It's what neighbors do, innit? It's what neighbors do, all right? This particular Friday, Maud is like clockwork, but she was late. And I'm thinking, rah, is Maud okay? I hope she's all right. Usually she's like, the bin was stinking of shit, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna be a good neighbor and have this conversation. Boom. 3 minutes later, boom! She kicks open the door. She's stressed. She's flustered. I said, Maud, is everything okay? She says, now, Gus, everything is far from all right. Have you seen the news? I'm like, listen, Maud, a lot of my cousins are on there. I don't watch that shit. You know that. Bring back a lot of bad memories for me, Maud. She says, Gus, it's the ISIS. I-Z-I. She's from Birmingham. That's how she spells it. It's the ISIS. They've been doing terrible bloody terrorisms again, them lot. I was like, yo, Maud, listen, that's bad. I don't agree with those people, and, you know, I hope they're brought to justice. She says, you say that, Guzzy, yeah? But you got to tell me something, babes. You're nothing like them, are you? I said, what? Maud, you know me 27 years, baby. I'm nothing like them. Stop buying into the media narrative. Stop buying into the news. I'm me, Guz, your neighbour. She says, I know you say that. It's just that from very specific angles. This is a very Bin Laden look you've got going on there. I said, hey! I don't even look like that guy. Very racist. She says, Guz, I know, I'm just being silly. But you just do me one more favour though, babes, okay? It's just more for my rod, really, yeah? If you hear anything about it before the news does, just let me know.
I get concerned about the message that we send, you know, young women a lot on TV and, you know, in the media, because right now we live at the height of materialism, where it's suggested to young girls especially that you can indulge the most depraved man as long as he's rich. This is evidenced by the franchise 50 Shades of Grey. Has everybody here seen 50 Shades of Grey or read it? Okay, some of you are shaking your heads. Fine. I will give you a quick plot summary of 50 Shades of Grey. I will be paraphrasing in this monologue, by the way. Is everybody ready? Yeah! Here is 50 Shades of Grey, abridged by Dame Baptiste. Hi, I'm a pretty naive American young girl who doesn't know about sex, even though I have access to the internet and my friend's a journalist. Mr. Gray, you seem so mysterious and rich. Can I interview you? That's right, baby. I am mysterious, and I'm rich as hell. Can I put a pineapple in your ass? I mean, some other stuff happens, but that's pretty much it. It's fair. Unfortunately, we live in a time where, you know, materialism is encouraged, you know. Do you guys remember the song No Scrubs by TLC? Yeah, great song for the ladies. Not so fun for the unemployed male. That was not a fun song to hear when I was younger. You remember how that song used to go? If you live at home with your mama, oh yes, son, I'm talking to you. If you live at home with your mother, they're talking to you. What if I'm a full-time carer? I'm supposed to leave my mother lumbered with bedroom tax, then go live with a bunch of strangers and pay somebody else's mortgage, then have those strangers question my life choices, which my mother already does, but I get rice and peas when she does it. Sitting in the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. Sitting in the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I'm sorry, if me and my friends are concerned about our carbon footprint, I'm not entitled to find love? If you don't have a car and you're walking, oh yes, son, I'm talking to you. If you don't have a car and you're walking, they're talking to you. So we're supposed to leave our houses in 4 separate cars, knowing full well petrol prices are at £1.25 per litre in some stations. Then if you go into London, you're paying a congestion charge 4 times. If you're going out of London, you're paying a toll charge 4 times. Then wherever we get when we're going, then you gotta pay a parking charge 4 times. And if we're all driving, then guess what we can't do? We can't drink, because when you all take separate cars, there's no designated driver, TLC. Which means when we finally do get to the club, because of all the traffic, because there's 4 cars adding to that traffic, we gotta drink water and sparkling water, then pay club prices for fruit juice. So I'm paying £7.25 for a cranberry juice, and we've been planning this night the most, TLC!
People ask me, they say, Chris, what is it like trying to raise a child when you can't see the child? It's ups and downs, you know, ups and downs. You just gotta go with the flow. Can't prepare yourself, you know. She's 3.5 now. When she was 2.5, if you haven't got kids, by the way, as soon as they get to 2, they're adorable. They just start asking questions. They want to know what everything is. You are their source of information. They want to absorb the world. My daughter, she's 2.5. She's in the bath. I'm knelt there. I'm bathing her. She's like, what's this, Daddy? What's this, Daddy? Oh, bloody no, do I? Give it here. Just... You might be 2.5, but you know way more than Daddy at this point, sweetheart. What's this, Daddy? Ice cream? I was like, ice cream? Big handful of shit, wasn't it? Massive. Not like a little pebble, not like a little sweetness. Where did that cut? An impressive quantity for an adult male. I wasn't entirely sure the dog hadn't jumped in and done it when my back was turned, and she just scooped it out. She just slapped it in there in one go. It threw me. I didn't... Look, right, I obviously didn't see it coming. I didn't even... No. I didn't even smell it coming. This came from underwater. This was a stealth move, right? And I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened. You know, I've narrowed it down to 2 options, I think. I've given it some thought. I mean, she was 2.5. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She deserves the benefit of the doubt, doesn't she? Option 1, benefit of the doubt. This is what happened. She sat in the bath in the warm water. Yeah? She farts. She shits herself. She doesn't know she's done that. A few minutes later, that goes floating past her in the bath, doesn't it? She sees it there. She thinks to herself, I wonder what the bloody hell that is. That looks a little bit like ice cream. I know, she thinks. I'll ask Daddy about that. He knows about these things. He's a very, very clever man, yeah? That's option 1, isn't it? Benefit of the doubt. Option 2. She's a bloody comedy genius. She's sat there in the bath. She's got Mr. Penguin up here on the wall. She's got, hey, Mr. Penguin, Mr. Penguin. Get on this now. This is going to be brilliant. This is going to be amazing. Watch his face now. Watch his face. Watch. Keep looking, keep looking. What am I going to do? Not only am I going to do a shit and put it in his hand, I bet you I can make him sniff it. Ice cream, Daddy? Ice cream, huh? We were very lucky with my daughter. So they say you got to watch your language around your kids, don't they? That's what they say. We were very lucky. My daughter's first words, apart from hand on heart, apart from mama, dada, baba, all that nonsense, her first words were go away. That's what she said. That's all she said for 3 months. Go away. Go away. She thought it was just one word. Go away. Go away. Why? Because that's what me and my wife said to the dog every time we were trying to feed my daughter. We'd get the food out, wouldn't we? The dog would get up, he'd go on the prowl, having a little look, wouldn't we? We'd be like, go away, go away, go away. She just picked it up. We'd push her in the pram out on the street. She'd be like, go away, go away, go away. Said to my wife, it's a good job we weren't telling that dog to fuck off, innit? Because we just wouldn't be able to take this kid out of the house.
Going away with my wife, she does this thing, right? If you get her in an airport, I'm not allowed to have my own passport. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm a 40-year-old man. I get to passport control. They say, you got your passport, mate? I'm like, no. I'm not allowed to carry it. Apparently, I'm not mature enough. I don't know what happens, man. The moment you get near an airport, she becomes like some sort of Russian people trafficker. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I must have all the passports. You cannot handle passport. You are too stupid for passport. I must keep all passports in zippy clear travel document folder, huh? Alongside printout from TripAdvisor. But you may carry the bags. I'm like a peasant boy for the day. Oh, thank you, master. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a real honor for me to carry your bags, you know. 11 pair of shoes for 3-day mini break is a good idea. Yes. Maybe you will become a centipede while we are in Egypt. Who knows? I went to a stag do recently. I went to the Munich Beer Festival. Has anybody here been to the Munich Beer Fest? Seemingly everybody. How many days did you go for, mate? No days. Got deported on arrival. We went for 7 days. We got there on a Monday, right? We had 6 straight days drinking, Monday through Saturday. And on the Sunday, we said, we've got to do something different, right? So we went to Dachau concentration camp. Yeah. It was a weird shout. There's no getting away from it. Could have gone go-karting. I said, no, let's do some World War II here. It took a long time to get there, and when we got there, it was shut. Now, yeah, it felt inconvenient. However, given the wider backdrop of historical suffering, I didn't necessarily think that my inconvenience was that big a deal, right? So I just thought I'll take it on the chin. But we had a mate of us called Tim, and Tim started popping off at the German security guard. He said, mate, it's a Sunday, yeah? It's a big tourist day. It's outrageous that it's shut. I said, to be fair, it's outrageous that it was ever open, you know what I mean? It is weird that you're making this about you, Tim, to be honest. People say dumb things, though, don't they? I was having a beer with my mate Wayne the other day, and Wayne likes to tell you where he was on the occasion of big historical news events that happened within our lifetime, right? So I mentioned 9/11, and Wayne went, 9/11, remember where I was that day? I was like, don't care where you were. I don't see how it's relevant. I don't see how your whereabouts on that fateful, terrible day will form some sort of meaningful historical footnote, Wayne. I'm being honest here. He looked hurt. He went, all right, where were you? He went, karate. I went, see, that's exactly exactly the sort of trivial shit I was worried about, Wayne. He said, well, you know, I was in New York 6 months before that. Makes you think, doesn't it? I was like, no. No. To be honest, all it makes me think is I wish you'd been there 6 months later. Sorry.
I said, what do you want? He goes, I want a cat. And I said, a cat? Nah, I'm not gonna buy you a cat. No one gets a pet for Christmas. And you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. There was a mouse, a little mouse. It came into the house and the girlfriend, she saw it, she goes, ah, what's he doing in here? What's he doing in here? We've got a mortgage. Like, that's got to do with anything. Like, all the mice is outside there. It's like, hold on, guys, before we go in there, we need to see if this is rental accommodation first. Yo, fam, put that cheese down. We haven't seen the tenancy agreements yet. It might be a hoax, right? It don't work that way. So she was like, Marlon, we need a cat. I said, I don't want one. She said, Marlon, we need a cat. So we compromised and we got one. So we went to this place. Where they hold all of the cats in the world. And I walked in there, I was like, I want a cat. And the lady said, that's not how it works, sir. I said, please. She said, no, what it is, we need to interview you to see if you're fit to have a cat. And I started panicking. At this point, I said, listen, right, lady, right, listen, right, between me and you, I've got a son. I said, human being, 8 years old, and he's not dead. And she looked at me, she was like, yeah, you can have a cat. So, she brought us up the stairs, man. When she brought us up the stairs, I've never seen so much cats before in my life. There was more cats than people in this room right now, right, and they were there, different shapes, different sizes. And my girlfriend, she got drawn to one cat, which was like blue and grey. I've never seen a cat like this before, a blue and grey cat, and his whiskers were out, and the tail was up, and she walked over to the cubicle where the little cat was, and she put her hand right up against it, and the cat came along, and he put his paw there, and it was like they were touching. And she was like, I want that cat. And the lady said, no. She said, why? She said, well, that cat, it can't live with children. And my girlfriend looked at me like to say, fuck the kid. I want that cat. The lady said, no, you can't have that cat, but we've got some cats that is suitable for you, but they're in this corner over here, and she walked us into this corner, ladies and gentlemen, and all of the cats in this area here were black cats. Yes, and my paranoia, that went off straight away. I was like, hold on a minute, we can't have that cat over there, but we can have any of these ones. I've got to fight racism in the real world, but also in the feline world as well. This is bloody ridiculous. And she said, this one's called Denzel.
I've made a list of pros and cons, because I've been spending a lot of time in brothels and prisons. Made a list of pros and cons, always good, give you a bit of balance, Con, complete loss of all feelings of hope and possibility. Well, it doesn't sound very good, does it? It doesn't sound much fun, does it? Pro, increased plug socket access. Bang, 1-1. I say increased, it's actually total plug socket access. I've got 32 plug sockets in my house. Each and every one of them is now under my sole domain. Con, all experiences that form the basis of my happiness and sense of self-worth are now destroyed by grief. Downer! A bit of a downer, isn't it? Pro, less recycling. I can fit it all in the green box now. It's remarkable when you take into account just how much I'm drinking. Oh, John, you're meant to heat mulled wine. All right, Your Highness, hand me the bottle and leave. Con, I'm gonna lose my house. Bit of fun. Pro, 25% off council tax. I was on that like a ferret. Dialing as the door slammed. And that's us fresh out of cons. The rest are just pros, guys. Yeah. Increased freezer space, all 4 drawers. Cheaper gas and electric. Reduced wear and tear on fixtures and fittings. And when I say reduced, I don't mean by half. because I was only ever responsible for about 10% of scuffs and spills. So we're looking at a net reduction of 90% in real terms. This is my favourite one. Ultimate control over where the iPhone charger cable is and why it is there. There was a time it would take hours to answer the questions, where is the iPhone charger cable and why is it there? Not anymore. Plugged in next to the bed, most convenient place to have it. Simple. Is it unplugged in the bathroom? No, it's not. It'd be a ludicrous place to keep it. There's no plug socket in the bathroom. Is it in the front pocket of a rucksack you no longer use? That'll be the last place you look. That'll be very frustrating. Is it plugged in on a train we have alighted from? No. It's plugged in next to the bed because that's the most convenient place to have it.
I'd love to see England play New Zealand in the rugby in the finals, and while the All Blacks are doing the haka, the English team is doing a little bit of Morris dancing. Hankies and ribbons. Go under, you go under. Didn't look at my watch when it came on. Pretty stupid looking at it now, to be honest. Need your eyebrows up to look at your watch. If you don't have your eyebrows up, you don't take in the time, do you? My watch has got the date on it, and some months have got 30 days, others have got 31. And the ones that have got 30, you have to do the extra day yourself. But before you do it, you always do that rhyme in your head. You know the rhyme, 30 days has September. You always do the rhyme twice, because you get the end of the rhyme the first time, and then you're thinking, hang on, I wasn't listening to myself. I was trying to see how fast I could go. Now, you never get to the end of the rhyme. You only get to the month that you need to know, and you think, there's no point in doing the whole rhyme. That's all I need to know. Some months are easier than other months. September's very easy. You go, 30 days has September. All right. It's not a good rhyme, though, is it? Starts out good. Just drops off towards the end. This is what we learned in school. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31, except for February. It's got 28, except the leap year is got 29. Whoever got that job to make that rhyme obviously got bored halfway through. I haven't time for this. I have other rhymes to be working on. I'm a busy boy. So, life's good, but tedious. Isn't it? It's just the same shit over and over again. Putting the bins out, that's a real reminder of how tedious life is. I've been here before, I hate this. Sneaking rubbish into other people's bins, I enjoyed that. Balaclava on. Never been caught. I hate it when I'm in bed and then I realise I haven't put the bins out. You know when you're lying, bin night. Or bin morning when you're in a deep sleep and you can hear the bin truck. running down the path naked with 2 bins behind you. That's no way to start the day, is it?
A lot of people know that I used to be a bouncer, which if you didn't know, I imagine that's come as quite a surprise. What? I was. Problem is, I still look like a bouncer. There's about 12 of you in here that showed me your tickets, and people still treat me like a bouncer. I went out a little while ago for a drink. I'm in the bar's hot, so I went outside, get some air, send a text message. So I wasn't stood there very long. I looked up from my phone and a queue had formed. That's the kind of... I had to learn how to be a bouncer while being a bouncer, which is like the worst place to learn how to do that job, especially when people think you can fight. I accidentally got a reputation that I could fight. I was 19, it was in my local bar, and I was drunk. I was really drunk. I'd had like 50 beers. I had 3. You know I had 3. So I realised about that line, like, as you get older, you think that line's going to stop. It doesn't. It just changes. Like, do you remember being 19 and you go out drinking with your friends and you have like 3 Budweisers and you're comatose, but your friend says, how many drinks you have last night? And you're like, 50. Then you get into your mid-30s and you actually go day drinking and consume 50 pints and then come home and like throw up on a cat and go to the toilet in the cupboard. But the moment your partner says to you, how many drinks did you have last night? You're like, 2. I think that second one was a bad one. I was really drunk. I was that level of drunk where I've now gone to the toilet and now I can't stop going to the toilet. Like, have you ever been that drunk, you've broken the seal, and now you can't stop pissing? It doesn't even look like piss anymore, does it? It's so clear. It doesn't it? It doesn't look... Have you ever had that drunk thought where you're like, taste it? No, me neither. Unless you have. I haven't, and you, because right, that's disgusting. Why would you bring that up? I haven't. I was really drunk, and a fight kicked off. This guy threw a drink in this lady's face, and then he punched a bouncer and tried to run out of the club. And as he's gone to run out, I've gone to lean on the bar because I need a nap. And he tripped over my leg and hit his face in the bar, knocked himself clean out. Now, I'm stood over this dude. And I'll be honest, I was just trying to figure out if I was in the toilet yet or not. And I stood over this guy, and the owner of the bar came up and he shook my hand, and he said, well done. I was like, Then the barmaid came over and she went, yeah, look at him, and he's pissed himself. I was like, yeah, he's... Yeah, he's definitely did that. There's a lot of misconceptions about bouncers as well. People think we know a lot more about star signs than we really do. Like, we don't. We just know that's how to catch you out, because I don't know, but I also know neither do you. And you always know who in the queue to pick, because you can see them practicing. We've all done it outside clubs when you're waiting to go in, going 3rd of the 8th, 94, 3rd of the 8th, 94. Then they get to the front and they're confident. They hand their ID and you go, date of birth, please. You go, 3rd of the 8th, 94. You go, what's your star sign?
I'll tell you a bit more about myself. I'm from the north of England. I had a very strange upbringing. My dad, he was very old-fashioned. When my sister had her menstrual cycle, he made her go and live in the shed, claiming that she was the evil seed of Satan. It's a little bit old-fashioned, isn't it? It's very sad. My sister died very young. She drowned. But, you know, like my dad said, look on the bright side. If she'd have floated, it would have had to set fire to her anyway, so... She was, my nan was great, though. She was great, my nan. I remember the last thing she said to me just before she died. She said, "What are you doing in here with that hammer?" Do you ever do that thing when you're a kid where you try and slip in swear words in front of your nan to try and impress your mate? How many swear words can we fit in without nan not noticing? I'll go first. Anyone for coffee, nan? Anyone for coffee? Is it half a cup? Fuck up! Fuck up, is it? What time is it? 10 past 2. 10 past 2? Do you expect me to believe that? It's jolly well possible. Anyone for coffee? The last time we tried it, we were in a Chinese restaurant. We went, "Oh, nan, there's no fork and knife. What are we going to do? There's no fork and knife, nan. There's no fork and knife. What are we going to do, nan?" She went, "I don't know. I'll probably try and have to use the fork and chopsticks, you patronising pair of little It's her attitude. If you can't beat them, what's the point in having kids? I'm obsessed with swearing, though, because this is great, because this show's going out after 9:30. Well, it is now, but this show's going out after 9:30, right? How did I know it was CBeebies? No, it's going on after 9:30, and I love the fact that I don't know why, but you can't swear on telly before 9:30, but you can after 9:30. I think the BBC, as a nation, just think we're all just sat round going, "Oh, Marjorie, would you possibly pass me the bread sauce? This fish is simply divine." "Why, certainly, Kenneth. It really is a tasty salmon." "Tell me, my darling, are you aware of the time?" "Why, allow me to check on my small pocket antique silver wristwatch, left for me by Grandpapa all of these years ago in his will." "Why, I believe it has just gone the hour of 9:30. Thank fuck for that! Let's get and shit on the Christmas tree, you dirty bitch! Like I say, I'm from Lancashire, and I haven't got a proper Lancashire accent anymore. That went a few years ago, I'm afraid, because proper Lancashire, of course, is surprised to hell about everything all the time, and real issues in a shoe shop, couldn't believe it, were great. Opened a tin of peas, looked inside, there were peas, it were great. My favourite accent at the moment is the South African accent. I love the fact that the South African accent is just, you know when you used to record records in the 70s backwards, and then when you played them backwards, they sounded forwards? That's what South African is, isn't it? It's just the record player backwards. "Hello, my name's Lee and I'm from England." "Oh, my name's Dave and I came from South Africa. I don't like you, get it to my black sniff. I don't like you living in London. It's too expensive. It's too expensive and I don't like it. Kill your parents, kill them, Beelzebub, kill your parents." Whereas the Australians, they just sound like a record that won't start properly. "Where are you from, mate?" "Oh, I'm from Melbourne, mate." "And how long have you lived there?" "Mate, 14 fucking years, mate. Fucking love it, mate."
I just celebrated 9 years of marriage just the other day. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. 9 years married to the same person. Jesus Christ, man. Listen, man, I'm just glad I'm no longer dating. I'm glad. Because dating right now is the ghetto. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not easy to date. And you know what? The thing about dating is, every time I see someone out, I'm like, how are you affording this? You know what I'm saying? It's a cost of living crisis. When I see people out eating food, I'm just like, I don't know how you're doing this. Even I'm on TV, and I still take my wife to the local chip shop. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're not getting this Taskmaster money. No. Nah, man. The dating. Back in the day, I used to get rejected a lot because I'm short. You know what I'm saying? Short guys, yeah, we don't get no love, man. Short guys. I'll be on the phone talking to girls, and I'll be like, you know, "Yeah, babes, I want to take you out." She'll be like, "Oh my God, how tall are you?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm 5 foot." Hello? Hello? I am happy. I am married, and I've got 2 wonderful children. Me and my wife got 2 beautiful children, 8 and 1, right? Now, the 8-year-old, that's a boy, right? And my boy is crazy. Make some noise if you got sons in the building, make some noise. So you know what I'm talking about. Boys are crazy, right? It's not just me. Have you ever just looked at your boy and been like, what the hell are you doing? Every day, all right? My son is obsessed with superheroes. He loves superheroes, right? Which is a bit weird in our household because we're like devout Christians, like especially my wife. We love going to church, right? My wife is definitely getting into heaven, 100%. Like, hopefully, I'm her plus one. I hope, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, no, I'm with her. No? Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I bring that up is because last year, Halloween, my son, he wanted to go trick-or-treating, right? Which is a bit weird in our household. Again, we're Christians. And he was just like, Mom, I want to dress up as a superhero. And my wife was just like, there is no superhero in this house other than Jesus Christ. So she dressed him for Halloween as Jesus Christ. This guy went out trick-or-treating, giving out bread and wine. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, God bless you. Yeah, God bless you too. Oh, God bless you. One day, me and my son, we were at home. We're by ourselves, right? I'm downstairs, I'm watching TV. My son is upstairs, right? He's doing whatever he's doing, right? And it got silent. And you guys know what happens when it goes silent with a child. It means they're doing something they should not be doing, right? And then out of nowhere, I hear a loud thud, just boom. I'm like, oh God, what's that? And then my son's just like, Daddy! So I run to the hallway, and my son is standing at the top of the staircase, dressed in a DIY superhero outfit, right? And he's just standing there, he's like, look, Dad, I'm a superhero. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, son, you might want to take that off before your mom comes home, all right? And he's just like, no, Dad, look, I can fly. And as soon as he said that, I'm not gonna lie, it got slow motion in my house. I was like, no. And my son was like, a part of me was just like, let me let him fly so he can break his legs, you know what I'm saying, and calm down.
Going away with my wife. She does this thing, right? If you get her in an airport, I'm not allowed to have my own passport. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm a 40-year-old man. I get to passport control. They say, you got your passport, mate? I'm like, no. I'm not allowed to carry it. Apparently, I'm not mature enough. I don't know what happens, man. The moment you get near an airport, she becomes like some sort of Russian people trafficker. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I must have all the passports. You cannot handle passport. You are too stupid for passport. I must keep all passports in zippy clear travel document folder, huh? Alongside printout from TripAdvisor. But you may carry the bags. I'm like a peasant boy for the day. Oh, thank you, master. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a real honor for me to carry your bags, you know. 11 pair of shoes for 3-day mini break is a good idea. Yes. Maybe you will become a centipede while we are in Egypt. Who knows? I went to a stag do recently. I went to the Munich Beer Festival. Has anybody here been to the Munich Beer Fest? Seemingly everybody. How many days did you go for, mate? No days. Got deported on arrival. We went for 7 days. We got there on a Monday, right? We had 6 straight days drinking, Monday through Saturday. And on the Sunday, we said, we've got to do something different, right? So we went to Dachau concentration camp. Yeah. It was a weird shout. There's no getting away from it. Could have gone go-karting. I said, no, let's do some World War II here. It took a long time to get there, and when we got there, it was shut. Now, yeah, it felt inconvenient. However, given the wider backdrop of historical suffering, I didn't necessarily think that my inconvenience was that big a deal, right? So I just thought I'll take it on the chin. But we had a mate of us called Tim, and Tim started popping off at the German security guard. He said, mate, it's a Sunday, yeah? It's a big tourist day. It's outrageous that it's shut. I said, to be fair, it's outrageous that it was ever open, you know what I mean? It is weird that you're making this about you, Tim, to be honest. People say dumb things, though, don't they? I was having a beer with my mate Wayne the other day, and Wayne likes to tell you where he was on the occasion of big historical news events that happened within our lifetime, right? So I mentioned 9/11, and Wayne went, 9/11, remember I was that day? I was like, don't care where you were. I don't see how it's relevant. I don't see how your whereabouts on that fateful, terrible day will form some sort of meaningful historical footnote, Wayne. I'm being honest here. He looked hurt. He went, I went, all right, where were you? He went, karate. I went, see, that's exactly the sort of trivial shit I was worried about, Wayne. He said, well, you know, I was in New York 6 months before that. Makes you think, doesn't it? I was like, no. No, to be honest, all it makes me think is I wish you'd been there 6 months later. Sorry.
But it's not just like being an adult, like that scares me. Like I struggled when I was a child. Like, I was terrified all the time. Weird things, like things my dad warned me about, like running with scissors. I hadn't even considered that till he suggested it. I don't know about you, I've never been so excited about cutting something. I've even broken into a jog. It's gone, bloody hell, I can't wait to open this fate. Oh my God, I've stabbed myself in the stomach. Why is there no warning on these things? But that's the thing about being a kid, like that you're kind of convinced into doing things like that you don't want to do, even though you just do them, like weird things like bobbing for apples. I don't know why you do that. I spent my childhood trying to avoid eating an apple. You put that apple in water, you put my hands behind my back, I will drown myself to eat that apple. It's me or the apple, I couldn't give a shit. I'm waterboarding for apples, that is fine with me. It's the thing, isn't it? If you make things into a competition, people want the prize, no matter what it is. Like those 2p pushing machines you get on Piers. I spent my life trying to get rid of 2p's. You put them on a moving shelf. I'm going, I'm having all those 2p's if it kills me. Not just those 2p's, I'm getting this pound coin, I'm changing that into more 2p's. To get these 2p's. I go for the one that's not just 2p's, it's got extra items balanced on top. I want less than the 2p's. That's not just 2p's, is it? That's a Shabarang's key fob. I remember Shabarang's, I've got keys, I'm having it. That's not just 2p's, that's a flump. How can you eat a flump? I don't want it served on a bed of loose change. Also a flump, retail price 1p. I am paying double for food poisoning. And I won't see these things in ages. The moment I see them, I am acting like I'm an expert, going, well, that one's not going to fall, I can see that. That one's a maybe, that one's going to pay out big, that is the 10p's, I'm going nowhere near that, I'm not made of money. No one's ever been on the 10p pushing machine, it's not Monte Carlo. It's not a guy on the screen's going, that guy's got a system, get him out, he's 2 Tamagotchis up, he'll ruin us. And you're going, I'm going to win big. Who has ever won big on the 2p pushing machine? It's gone, darling, good news, dinner's on me. I won big down at the pier. I have 400 kilos of loose change. Yes, book late, it will take me some time to walk there. The other one I'll always go on is the plastic horse racing where you'll bet on the horses. I don't know, I'll always go on that. But I don't know why. I always watch a few races to check the form. What am I expecting to see in that situation? Go, oh my God, that blue one's lame, thank God I checked. The final one I'll go, is a dance simulator with the arrows coming up on the screen, the arrows on the floor. Just be stood for ages like this going, well, I tell you what, I am a better dancer than I thought. You do that in a nightclub, you are not a better dancer than you think. You like these moves, girls? Wait for the big one. Here it comes. There it is. Thank you very much.
I used to be not exactly ashamed of my blackness, but I never wanted to do anything that could be seen as stereotypically black, and it followed me all my life. So when I was younger, when I was at school, if I was ever in PE and a basketball would come flying at top speed towards my face, instead of catching that basketball in the air, dribbling it towards the nearest net and slam dunking the thing, as I naturally would, I just let it hit me in the face and roll away. When I got older, I made a lot of friends, mainly white friends, and we started going to the club. Are you familiar with the club? Not the club, the club. At the end of the street. Whenever I went to the club and I was dancing with a group of friends, I would deliberately dance less well on purpose. So that the white people wouldn't be intimidated. There'd always be one other black person in the corner of the room, arms folded, looking at me like, you're disrespecting yourself. When meanwhile, I'll be in the middle of the dance floor just moving like Miley Cyrus. I tried so hard. I tried so hard to pass as white. I did all the white things. I bought pesto. I said tissue. And I got really dangerously into Jamie T. I am talking about the era of Jamie T, Pete Doherty, Jack Pignati, Jedward. I spent my late teens, arguably the sexiest part of one's teens, just sort of lusting over these gurning predators. Like, imagine more me, you'll be at a house party with an edgy white boy and he'd have the whole edgy boy starter kit. He'd have the skinny jeans, roly fag, unacceptable BO. He'd be talking always about one of his two favourite subjects, which is always either dubstep or himself. And he's sitting on the windowsill and finally you'd pluck up the courage to just cut him off mid-anecdote, put your hand on his shoulder, look him in the eye and be like, mate, I love you. And then he'd look at you, and you'd look at him, and you'd lean in for a kiss, and then he'd just sort of thumb MDMA into your mouth. And after that was it, you were like, wow! I think he really likes me. Oh my God, white guys. I spent half my life lusting after unsuitable white guys. Have we got any white guys in? Come on, guys, cheer louder. We know how much you get paid. Because you are everywhere. You're in the White House, you're in the big banks, you're in all the fancy court cases, you're killing it. Sometimes literally. But I don't want anyone to think I'm having a go because I genuinely adore white guys. Love your work. Ed Sheeran, amazing. I haven't got anything against white men apart from obviously everything it is that they've done. Some of my best friends. Some of my best friends are white men. My mother is a white man.
You do a thing in the UK called pre-drinks. Pre-drinks, all right? Some people call it prinks, because they don't even have time to pronounce the whole word before they get on it, all right? Pre-drinks. I had no idea what it was. I had to ask my friend. I was like, Di, what the hell are pre-drinks? He said, Ignacio, it's great. We drink at home before we go out to go drinking. I said, that is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. I said, why would you do this? He said, you know, just to warm up to get ready to go drinking. I said, that doesn't make any sense, all right? You don't do it for anything else, do you? You don't go, we're going to go to the cinema, pop a fucking DVD in before we go to the cinema. Nonsense. Just fire up the old Netflix and do shots of popcorn. Is it made before we go down to the cinema? Craziness. Everything revolves around booze, okay? People in this country start drinking around about 13, 14 years of age. Does that feel about right? 13, 14. Some of you, depending on where you're from, younger, some of you older, right? I get that. But I came over, I visited as a teenager, and I found out the way it works, all right? I was trying to fit in, and they were like, right, what we're gonna do? We're gonna go down drinking in the park, all right? We're gonna go drinking in the park as teenagers, all right? I was like, right. They go, right, we're gonna steal booze from our parents, and we're gonna go down the park, all right? I was like, okay, no problem. So I showed up to the park, all right, feeling like Jason Bourne or something in my backpack, and I think, pull out the stuff, all right, what's in there? They were like, what the hell is Rioja? Like, it's Rioja. Does anyone have a corkscrew, actually? Because otherwise we're gonna be here for a while. The thing is, like, kids do that, and if they can't steal the booze from their parents, what they do is they'll stand by an off-license, all right? And they will wait for somebody to walk past who looks just dodgy enough, but not too dodgy, so they can offer them money and go, hey, can you go in the shop for me and pick me up some beer, some vodka, whatever, we can go down drink in the park, and that person will go get the cash, and then you go there, you get shit-faced as teenagers, it bonds you, okay? It brings you together. At least that was my experience, okay, back in the day. But times have changed, all right? I went to back where my mother's from, okay? My mother's from a little town in Wales called Pontardawe, all right? Don't know if anyone's heard of it. Tiny little town, Pontardawe. Pontardawe is a Welsh word, all right? Pont means bridge, and Dawe means over a shithole, okay? It's not a delightful place to move to from Mallorca, is what I'm trying to say. Right? My mother hates that joke. She's like, Ignacio, please stop saying that. They've taken all of the trolleys out of the canal, all right? Can we... But I was visiting and I was walking to see my mother and I passed an off-license, okay? And there's this kid stood by the off-license as I'm passing, all right? And he clocks me and I've got my guitar on my shoulder, so he's thinking, this guy's got no prospects. So he comes over to me with his cash, all right? And he was like, hey, could you maybe go in the shop? I'm like, I know where this is going. He goes, can you pop in the shop? I'm like, right. He goes, if I give you this money? I'm like, yep. And he goes, and get me some. I was like, I know where we're going. He goes, vape. I was like, what? He goes, vape. I said, seriously, vape? He said, yeah. I said, what flavor? He said, cherry. I was like, of course, cherry vape. All right, rock and roll. I go in the shop. I'm laughing to myself. I can't believe these kids asked me for cherry vape. How times have changed, all right? I go up to the counter. The guy behind the counter must have thought I was insane, all right? I'm laughing the whole way through the shop. I grab the stuff, pay for it, put it in the bag. I walk out. I'm laughing on the way out. I give the kid the bag. I go, there you go, pal. 20 Marlboro Red and a bottle of vodka. Grow up, you little shit. What is this? Vape nonsense.
To be honest with you, I'm bisexual, but during lockdown, I'll admit, I was strategically gay. I think that was the only way to go. When dating became such that you had to meet strangers in parks, and also you had to believe the other person when they said they washed their hands. I'm not doing that with men. I also think that ultimately, if you are bi, I don't really know why anybody would be choosing men. Yeah, no offense, it's just that we smell better and you're violent. So... The men who don't laugh at that unnerve me most, yeah, okay. I'm glad, join in. Okay. There are good things about being broken up with. I think one of my favorite things is that I had to get my house sorted, so I got a bunch of DIY done. It really, I think DIY is amazing. DIY, in particular, there's one silver lining, and that is that DIY reminded me of something I had long forgotten the point of, which is, of course, men. You're amazing, aren't you? Specifically, I'm a fan of a subgenre of men. They're called handymen. Do we know these guys? Oh my God, they're wizards. I love them. They do magic. I adore them. You're not sold. That's okay. I had one lad in one day, had a bunch of photos and art on the floor, left, came back, on the wall. Oh, I'm sorry, these guys are defying gravity and you're not impressed by that? Incredible, I'm obsessed with them, I love them. I also had one day where I had two men in, I know, very exciting, and I had a bookcase, right, that needed bolting to the wall. I said, can you bolt that to the wall? They said, yeah, of course we can. I said, cool. Just so you know, even if you bolt it to the wall, the floor is uneven, so it will wobble. They said, no, don't worry about that, sure, we'll just get some extra wood and pop it under it. What? I said, don't worry about that, sure, we'll just get some MDF and pop it under it. What is this witchcraft? Here's the thing, Apollo. They did. I was like, I will suck you both off. Obviously, I had to think about it afterwards because head was my first reaction, only my first reaction, I think a normal one. My second one was, of course, to wonder how I am a woman in her 30s who doesn't know how to do any DIY. And I think the obvious answer there is that men are keeping it a secret to remain relevant. And that's not on me, right? But I do know some women can do DIY. I date soft butches, I'm aware. But genuinely, I mainly know because a woman came to my house from British Gas, very modern, and she fixed my boiler, right? And after she was done, she said, okay, that's all done, all sorted. Just before it works, you will need to bleed the radiators. I said, what? She said, oh, for that to work, you're just gonna need to bleed the radiators. I said, the butch one left. What are you saying? Sorry. can't really hear you behind all of my hair. What's happening? She goes, do you want me to show you how to do that? I said, is that allowed? Women in the room, look at me. Come here to me now, focus, right? Did you know that that is just turning a key and waiting for liquid? It is basic hand job stuff, and no one will tell you. Here's the thing. Every man in my life has acted like that as a state secret, right? This man's furious, I'm telling you. You now have all the information you need. You're free, run. My dad bleeds a radiator in such a way that I thought he used his own dick. I thought there was actual blood involved. He'll go off with a bunch of tissues being like, I will do it, do not look, I will do it. Anyway, she fixed my boiler, so I was like, I will eat you out. They all said no, I had to pay both times. It's hard out there.
I'll set the scene. You're in stirrups, so it's like you've been riding a horse, and then the horse has fucked off. And you've toppled over and ended up, in my case, in the back room of an NHS hospital. Then what has happened, every time I've been for a smear, and I don't know, some they're rolling out just for me, but every time I've been for a smear, what seems to happen is a doctor will come over and they'll go, hi, Miss Ruffle, thanks so much for coming in. It's really important you keep up to date with your smear test. Now listen, if this is a problem, you can absolutely say no. You can totally say no. It's not a big deal. But would it be all right? We have some trainee doctors in today. Could they all come in? And you want to go, no, there's a horse on the loose. Could they go and get that? But you love the NHS, so you've got to go, yes, of course, no problem, it's absolutely fine. And then what happens is between 65 and 70 trainee doctors come in. There's loads of them. It's like a walking tour's got lost. It's not good. I also need to let you know something. People in the room that haven't been to a smear, I need to let you know something. When you're having your smear, you feel a little bit silly. You feel a little bit silly, and I'll tell you for why. T-shirt, nothing. Little pair of socks. A little bit silly. You feel a little bit like Winnie the Pooh. The doctor's back. She says, Miss Ruffle, would it be okay if one of the other trainee doctors did your smear? And you want to say, no, can I have someone had a crack at it before, please? But you love the NHS, so you've got to go, yes, of course, no problem, it's absolutely fine. And then what happens? The trainee doctor came at me like this. The doctor's back. She says, Miss Ruffle, would it be okay if one of the other trainee doctors did your paperwork? I was like, yeah, once I'm a chuff, fill out form, carry on. So she goes, you're Susie Ruffle. I'm like, yeah, that's me. She goes, okay. First question, what are you using as contraception? Undercut on the Doc Martens not enough? What more do you need? I said, I'm not using contraception. She went, oh, well, if you're sexually active, you do need to be using contraception. And I was like, oh, no, I don't. She went, no, you do. Because even if you're using the old-fashioned technique or, the Catholic technique, nothing about what I am doing is Catholic. She says, you should be very careful. You can have a baby tomorrow. I think it'll take 9 months. I've got 4 GCSEs. You're nearly a doctor. You should know that. And she wasn't picking up what I was putting down. And what I was putting down was a KD Lang album. So eventually I just had to come out. Now, of course, there'll be queer people in the room. You know what it's like. Sometimes you have to come out in situations where you didn't know you were coming out that day. You hadn't put it in the diary. So I had to say, I'm a gay lady. I'm a lady that's gay. I'm a glady. And the one that was down here doing the jiggery-pokery, which I think is the official term. I saw a gay lady and she popped up like I'd birthed her. So, whoa. She is a lot older than I thought she'd be, but we are very proud she's a doctor. I saw a gay lady, she popped up and went, oh, right, that makes sense. Snug. That's not a medical term, is it? Has that gone on my record? Snug, what a weird word to use. Because it sounds like she's looking down there and she can see the back end of a Tudor pub.
Prosecco Paunch, there's always a very specific laugh in the audience. I've learned to recognise it. It's just over there tonight. It's this. And I know what it is now. That is the laugh of a thin yoga woman. And I know what the laugh means. The laugh is like, that's funny, but I'd kill myself if I looked like you. But I promise you, there's advantages to having a Prosecco Paunch. Make some noise if you got one. 2 female will laugh for the bodies in the room. Don't be shy, lads. I can see you. It's quite well lit. Let's try that again. We're all being honest about ourselves. Give us a cheer if you got a Prosecco Paunch. Boys, boys, boys. The thing is, if you have a Prosecco Paunch, there are advantages to it, right? 2 main ones I can think of. Number 1, I don't want to be crude, but I can take some hammer. Yeah, it's true. I can give you a list of names that can attest to that as well. Not surnames. Now, the other thing is my Prosecco Paunch always gives me the greatest slice of joy, right? You know those 3 incredibly hot days we get that we pass off as the summer, right? I absolutely love those because that's when I get all my tanning done. I'm taking it very seriously. I go and get a chair from the kitchen. I go and put it slap bang in the middle of my garden, right? Because all the sun hits there. I've not got outdoor furniture. I'm not a Tory. So I pop it there. And then I get as naked as is legally possible. So I've got full spaniel's ears out. Smallest knickers I can find. You might be worrying about me now, because this is obviously filmed in London. I live in the countryside. I've not really got neighbours. I've got one lad who can see into my garden. He's depressed. He's not looking out his window for 3 weeks. We're fine, right? I also get very precious when I'm doing my tanning, right? Very precious. So what I'll do is I roll my knickers down as small as I can get them, because I'm like, I don't want tan lines, actually. I don't want tan lines. I've got a bush like a badger, but I don't want tan lines. It's got TV. I don't want tan lines. I'm not allowed near cows. So I lie there, drinking it in, and as I lie there, think to myself, you know what? I am going to get up, and I am going to go to the freezer, and I am going to treat myself to a 3rd Magnum of the day. Because I'm a special princess, and I do deserve it. Thank you. For all the people who are allowed ice cream up there in that one section. Lactose intolerant in the stalls. Closer to the toilets, it makes sense. So I'll decide I'm going to treat myself to that Magnum. And then I'll wait another 40 minutes till I can actually be asked to get up and get it. And then when I get up and get it, this is where my Prosecco Paunch really steps up. Because as I stand up, I will hear the sound of my own gunt peeling off the top of my own leg. Yeah. Don't go, Don't pretend you're not turned on. It's embarrassing. Incredible noise. It's like this. That's my mating call. It is. I just see a row of bald heads along the fence like that. It's just divorced dads who are like, is that low self-esteem I can hear? Do you want to come to Pizza Hut and be a mum for 2 hours?
Oi, this is nice, isn't it? Yes! Is anyone here in their 40s? Is it? You're not in your 40s? Have you guys started walking like this yet? It happens like clockwork, you know? It's mad. Like, I'll be walking around the co-op like I'm in an art gallery, just... Reduced by how much? Not enough. That, and I've got a boner for linen. Ooh. In it. I literally go out shopping for fabric and I'm like, give me a fabric that will crease really easily. Yes. I want to iron it for at least an hour. That's for me. That and candles. Woo! Now listen, I used to party hard. And I found that burning your money via candles is a great replacement. When I say I like candles, yeah, I'm going diptyque, baby. Thank you. I'm going Joe Malone. Fig for me. Which also, like, I'm from a council estate. What does fig really smell like? Does anyone... I'm just going on what Joe Malone told me, you know what I mean? I mean, these candles are expensive. I reckon for a £5, I could probably buy 50 figs, chuck it in the oven, and just waft it around the house a few times. The dream is, yeah, I want enough money that I can light a Joe Malone candle when it's just me in the house. Come with me, people. Can you imagine coming home to your yard, it's just you in, and you're like, you know what? Fig for me. As it is, if you was over my house and I had a candle on the go, no lie, after about 20 minutes, I'll start thinking that's about £17 worth of scent now. What kind of friend is he anyway? Is that enough? I realise there's nothing more insulting than someone lighting your scented candles when you're not there to enjoy the scent. Innit? I had my brother house sitting for me, right? I was away for a couple of weeks. I walked back into the house. As soon as I opened up the door, I was like... I walked into the front room. This guy is reclining on my sofa, lighting his spliff with my Joe Malone candle. The ash was falling into the wax. I was like, you all right? Yeah, you good? Now, we know as British people, when our voices go high like that, we mean the opposite, right? The higher our voices go, the less we're about it. You know what I mean? If someone's like, you coming to a party? You're like, yeah! What that means is, I'm not coming to your party, mate. So I said, you all right? What you doing? He's like, oh, it's just a bit of mood lighting, innit? So, IKEA tea light is mood lighting. That's not even it. It was a 3-wick candle. Only 1 wick was lit. Thank you.
It's chaos out there, isn't it? We like to convince ourselves we're logical creatures, but we're not. And it's chaos out there. It's madness. They sell matches in petrol stations. It's chaos out there. Like, I was listening to this debate show recently on the radio, and they were talking about cannabis legalization. And the people in the cheap seats are very excited. But they were talking about it, cannabis legalization. And there was a guy on there making some pretty good points, and he kept saying, look, there's no logic to the fact that you can buy alcohol in this country legally, but you can't buy weed, which is a far less dangerous drug. And some of you, well, yeah. Look, some of you might agree with that, and some of you might not. But the thing is, that argument ignores the huge swathes of things that we can buy. There's absolutely no logical reason for us to be able to buy. Like, yeah, you can't buy weed. Maybe you should be able to. Do you know what you can buy? Do you know what every single person in this room could buy tomorrow, if we wanted to, and there's no debate as to whether it's right or wrong? A horse. You've taken that very well as an audience. You know what a horse is, right, mate? You know what a horse is? Massive furry van with no respect for human life. You know what a horse is? Stand behind it, kicks you in the head, you're just dead, you can just buy one. Does anyone else find that weird? Anyone can buy a horse? Anyone can buy a horse. Anyone. I live in a 3rd-storey flat in South London. I can buy a horse, ride it down the high street, take it up the stairs. I've broken no laws. It's harder to buy scissors. Maybe you don't believe me. I get that, maybe you don't. Frankly, I didn't believe me. I wrote this routine. I was like, come on, Sean. Come on, you can't just buy a horse. You're going to need land or permits or something like that. So I went on Google. Not only can you genuinely just buy a horse, right? I am not making this up. Do you know how much it costs? £40. For a horse. Do you know what a horse is? When word gets out, it's £40 a horse. Society is going to change immeasurably. I mean, for a start, Uber are finished. It's over. It's done. Honestly. You think Friday nights are rough as it is. You wait until every stag do in the country's got a steed dressed as a minion, all right? In many ways, might be the best thing that ever happened to us. I do think that. Think of all the problems it could solve if we went back to horseback. Think of it. Biggest problem at the moment, cost of living crisis. Petrol's through the roof. How am I going to get around? I can't afford my car tax. £40 horse, one payment, easy, done. £40, you can go where you want. You might be thinking, well, sure, you need to clothe a horse, you need to feed a horse. Here's the thing with a £40 horse. No, you fucking don't. It's a £40 horse. It's a £40 horse. It's a £40 horse. What else are you going to do? Just leave it at the side of the road. It's like those scooters. It's easy. What else are you going to do with a £40 horse, please? You wouldn't trust the glue to hold up a pin.
I sort of feel like if you've got enough money, you can sort of just pay somebody to diagnose away your shit personality. And I consider that money well spent, by the way. I would recommend it to you. Prick. No. I actually have bipolar disorder. That's why I've ruined your birthday. Poor me, actually. Now I always thought there was a system. Like, adult ADHD has changed everything for me. I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought it was a childhood thing, but now there's adult ADHD, which has confused the whole process for me. I thought the process was that if you had a child who was shit, you would say that they had ADHD. And if that child who is shit grows up to be a shit adult, you would say that they had bipolar disorder. Footnote, I've been diagnosed with both, so don't write in, camera people. Anyway, a lot of people might suffer with mental illness, and that's, it's a pervasive phenomenon. A lot of you might have depression. That's your sort of garden variety mental illness. That's your standard fare. And if you do have depression, my advice to you and the community at large would just be to keep it in there. Bottle it up. Whatever you do, don't tell me about it, because I don't care. I don't care if you're depressed. I'm bored of it. I just don't want to hear about it. And I just can't be. And also, it's just not a good thing. If you have depression, don't tell me. Because as somebody who suffers with depression, you should know how pervasive depression is, that many people suffer with depression. So if you tell me that you have depression, that might make me depressed. And that doesn't really feel like a problem halved, does it? It doesn't. It's not, I just don't tell me about it, Depression is an economy based on resource scarcity. And what we've done now is we've flooded the market with depression, and it's lost all of its value, and I don't care if you're depressed. Depression is currently in its Weimar Republic era of hyperinflation. And we're all wandering around with wheelbarrows full of depression going, would you look at all of this depression? And I'm there going, that's actually not as much depression as it looks like. That won't even get you a loaf of sympathy down the shops these days. My friend said to me recently, with the confidence of a man saying something new, that's lovely. He said, I just think we need to talk more about male mental health. Oh my God, how could there possibly be time to talk about it any more than we already do? We are talking. I know that we all have different perspectives, different cultural backgrounds. I can see you, or feel you rather, like moving away from me. Okay? Let's all keep lighthearted about this. I don't want to have to say only joking, given the context of what this is.
Sometimes people come up to me after shows and say, I don't like female comedians. They talk about sex too much. I say the reason why women comedians such as myself talk about sex all the time is because, well, Sex is one of the few things men allow us to participate in. I am an identical twin. I know. I get asked, how do people tell you apart? And the answer is it's pretty easy, because I live in London and she's dead. She died at birth. Which I'm absolutely okay with, because that means I'll always be the pretty one. You'll be relieved to know that being American is not my only disability. I also have a very mild form of cerebral palsy. It's not a big deal. In Japanese, it's called no seishou ni mahi. Sounds very exotic. In French, it's called infirmité motrice cérébrale. It sounds much more expensive. I was gonna learn how to say it in Russian, but Putin's not my president anymore, so. All it really means is I can't use the muscles on the right side of my body very well, even my face to a certain extent. God help the man hoping for a return on a left cheek kiss, because I will bite your face off. Mostly, though, it's my right arm and hand that I can't use. I can place most things in my hand and hold them. I can also give people the finger, if you're into that sort of thing. Just takes 20 minutes. And when I walk with a limp, because I like big dicks if I can not. I do. My mom, she feels responsible for my disability because she is. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I love my mother very, very much. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be a comedian. But I would be able to use both hands. I moved to London 5 years ago, but I've been coming to the UK every summer for years and years before that, because I fucking love you guys. I do. Genuinely cannot get enough of you and your no-can-do spirit. Also, as a disabled person that can't drive, I've figured out that countries with obvious alcohol problems have pretty decent public transportation. And you people drink a lot. There's been a strike going on, and I'm still getting to gigs. That's how much you drink. We Americans, we don't drink as much as you. We physically can't. We're on too many opioids.
Now, let me just start by saying, well done to any parents who've made it here tonight. We got parents? Because here's what I've realised. If you've not got children, you're just here. It's easy, but if you're a parent, this is everything. This will have been in the diary for months. There'll be parents in here tonight, don't even care about the show. They're just enjoying sitting in the dark for a bit. That is like a spa day for some of them. I could see them now at the back just going, this is so good. Don't make me go back, John. Don't make me go back. I get it, okay? I've got 2 young children. My youngest one's Sophia. She's 5 now. I mean, I say she's 5. She's 3 when we go swimming. I'm not an idiot. 4 on a bus, 3 on a train. That's the system, isn't it? I'll be honest, she hasn't got a clue how old she is now, that one. She's so confused. Every birthday is a genuine surprise for all of us. This kid wandering round. How old am I today then, Daddy? Depends what we're doing, darling, doesn't it? Have you check the spreadsheet. He said Alton Towers. Right, well, getting that baby grow looks small, all right? Not paying 48 quid for you to go on some teacups, that way, mate. Come on. What does Daddy say? Well, get on board with the fraud. There's a good girl. Now stop talking, we're trying to breastfeed you. Listen! You go through that turnstile with a 5-year-old hanging off your tit, they ask no questions. I've got one, why does she have to bite me? But... So she's a great kid. There's just a lot of admin when your kids are that little. Have we got primary school teachers amongst us this evening? Great, I'm glad you're here, because I can direct all this venom at you. Because here's my problem. My daughter brings home stuff she's made every day under people like you. And I just want to say on behalf of all the parents here tonight, just stop it. We can't deal with it anymore. You don't see it at your end. You just keep sending it. Your carbon footprint is massive. It is. You might as well have driven an oil tanker into a family of puffins, you people. We'll never solve the climate problem with you involved, because it just keeps coming, doesn't it? And it's not arts and crafts anymore. It's emotional landfill. That's what it is. Because Gemma will say, oh, she's put a name on it, so we have to keep it. We don't. We don't. She's not Banksy. Get it in the bin, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's another picture of a sheep out of dried pasta, innit? We've had 4 this week. I tell you, no wonder there's a school meals crisis. Stop sticking it on paper and cook it, you morons. We'll feed these kids for years. I'm just envious of my parents now. Their lives are so simple. Like, they're retired. My dad loves being retired, mainly because he's paying the world back one day at a time for all the misery it's caused him. He sets his alarm 8 o'clock every morning, gets up, gets out into rush hour traffic. Just gets in everyone's way. That is a day out for that man now. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Sometimes he'll even take the car. But, of course he takes the car. How else would you tow a caravan? But he's a great man. There's a man down here, so it reminds me of my dad, mate. Yeah, you don't look like him. It's just he's bitterly disappointed in me as well. That's fine. For everyone. He's called Roy, my dad, Apollo, which is a very manly name, isn't it? Like, people called Roy come out the womb already able to grout a bathroom. That's how hard that name is. He was born by caesarean section, my dad. I reckon the first thing he did was turn around to his own mother and give her a quote for the damage. Just came out with a pencil. That's all right. We'll plaster over that. Don't worry. See you next week.
And I got mugged once, and I don't know if you've ever been mugged and fought back. I didn't, right? It was so scary. I was in Brighton. This bloke pushed me against the wall, went, give us all your money. I ain't got any money. I genuinely called for my mum. How pathetic's that? Mum, as if my mum's going, oh, Russell's in trouble. I don't know what that is. Apparently my mum's a meerkat all of a sudden. Right. I went and I told my little brother about getting mugged. Did he care? No. It was sort of what happened, Russ? A little bit of wee come out. He got really angry. What'd you do that for? Like I'd done it on purpose. I'm not a toad. Didn't try and ward him off with my venomous piss. I didn't think you're under attack. Secrete, toad boy. Show him your powers. I've wet my pants. He offered me advice, genuinely. Well, you know you're a weed brush, just use your brain. Next time, bamboozle the mugger. That was his genuine advice. But how'd you bamboozle anybody? Someone, give us all your money. Well, you say that, but what, my friend, is the opposite to opposite? Consider yourself bamboozled. Who's next? You like my credit card details? What colour does a Smurf go when we choke it? You know my name. They call me the bamboozler. Ridiculous. The worst superhero in the world. If I was going to have any superpower, I'd like the ability to make somebody orgasm just by touching them once. Not for sexual purposes. That would be amazing in a fight. Kill him! Kill him, Steve. I'm trying to, but I'm too horny. He's made my belly fizz. I haven't got that skill. If I had that skill, I wouldn't be here. Be in the zoo causing a great deal of mischief. Which animal, old lady? The hippo. You got it. I'm not very good at sex. I'm quite confident sexually, but I make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Has anyone ever tried using food in the bedroom? Is anyone ever? Look at you going, we're not telling you. It went really badly. It was so, I was like 19 and I read in a magazine like 59 ways to please your lady and using food. So I went and bought, now this is a mistake, I went and bought a 4-pack of Rolo yogurt. And rather than tell my then girlfriend what I had planned, I pretty much waited for her like some hideous yogurt goblin. And I doubt there's anything more terrifying and yet pathetic to come home and find your boyfriend naked holding yogurt. I panicked and I didn't put a little bit. Honestly, we're both fine with the arrangement. I pretty much covered her, right? Every bit of skin I could find. By the time I'd finished, she looked a bit like Morph. She's no longer my girlfriend, now she's an angry meal. Eat me. Where do you start licking? You can't lick randomly, and then she looks like she's got an illness. So I did foot up to knee. That took me an hour. We're having fun now, aren't we? Having fun. Why aren't I going out with a hobbit? 2 hours later, we realise she's dairy intolerant. We're down the doctor's. She looked like an angry gingerbread lady who'd had her leg dipped in Tipp-Ex, right?
We just make shit decisions. Men make immoral decisions. We make irrelevant decisions. We make immature decisions. We make decisions when we don't even know there's a decision to be made. But you know what? At least we make a decision. No. Let's try this one on with the class, will we, eh? Look at all the couples sitting there now. Look, you listen to him. You listen to him. I went to see Patrick Healy the other night. Was he funny? No, but he was true. Is it just me? Am I an indecision magnet? Eh? Honestly, I can get all sorts of women. Can I get a woman who will make a decision? I'm not talking big decisions. I'm not talking should I murder your man, move to Australia. Talking everyday decisions. What do you want to do tonight? No, I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, I don't know. We go for a takeaway, or we could get a movie, or go for a meal. What do you want to do? No, I don't know. What do you want to do? So you go to the restaurant. The sommelier comes over. Would serve like red? Would serve like white? Oh, God, I don't know, maybe the red, but then the red stains my teeth. Maybe the white, but hang on, are you having the fish? Because if you're having the fish, then you should have the white and I'll have a little sip. Oh, I don't know, I'm really not sure. Just the red, please, yeah. Save yourself, go for it, I have to live with this, okay? Gets to the starter. Oh, I don't know, maybe the duck or the prawns, or the duck and the prawns. Hang on, am I allergic to the duck? No, did Jill like the prawns? Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know. If you were me, what would you have? You by the fucking throat, that's what I have! Girls, have you any idea how difficult it is for a man to sit in a restaurant, look across at the woman he loves, and think to himself, if I marry this woman, she's going to want to decide the name of my firstborn child? If I marry this woman and I'm unfaithful, she's going to decide whether to keep me in the house or make me leave and keep half my stuff. If I'm involved in a terrible accident and I'm on a life support machine, she's going to decide whether to keep me alive or turn me off. And I'm looking at her and she can't even make her mind up between the chocolate cake and the sticky toffee pudding. And do you know the worst thing about this? I'm looking at couples. I'm looking at couples now who women should now be turning to the men and going, oh my God, would I turn it off? Would I keep it on? Would I turn it off? Would I keep it on? And the only thing going through your minds, girls, chocolate cake, toffee pudding. Oh, it's a toughie, Paddy, it's a toughie. Ooh. Is the cake hot?
Last time I did a gig in London, right, how great a heckle is this? This bloke went, oi, Howard! Would you shag your dad to save your was so aggressive, it was like it wasn't hypothetical. Like my mum was in a van and my dad was in a harness, you know? What would you do? I panicked and went, I think I'd shag my dad. And this bloke went, oh, tell him then. He worked with my dad. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a phone call that chilling. All right, son, what's all this about you wanting to bum me? Dad, you don't understand. They were going to kidnap Mum. Well, that changes things, son. Before you start, you best knock me out. You don't want tips on how to bum your dad? Treat me right, son. Run me a bath. Put Radox in it. I'm not your bitch. All right, Dad, I gotta go. Lift my hips up. Weird moment, you know? Dads. I can't wait to be a dad. Obviously, I'm not ready. I'm still afraid of the dark. I think that's fairly crucial. Dad, could you get my coat? I don't think so, son. It's in the cupboard, and that is where the goblins live. You won't trick me, I'm so wise. Such a child, you know? So, you know that feeling when you're near a wardrobe, there's always part of you going, come on, this time, Narnia. It never happens, but... I bet that's an hour of fun at MFI, just no. I'll give anyone in this room 200 quid if they go to IKEA tomorrow dressed as a lion and hide in a cupboard. That's... Been travelling all over the place. It's been great. I've been on tour, right? I've seen some really weird things, right? I was in a sandwich shop the other day. Do you ever see a sign that really annoys you? There was this big sign that said, hey, why not try a guilt-free wrap? Like, what? Don't make sandwiches evil. How ridiculous is that? Sandwiches are lovely. The bacon sandwich is one of the greatest things in the world. It tastes lovely, and conceptually, it's a wonderful thing. A bacon sandwich is essentially bread giving a dead pig a cuddle. It's a lovely thing. I love you, Mr. Pig. Why do the Jews hate me? It's lovely, right? And there was a sign... Joke. And there was a sign next to it that said, you may have cancer. Now I'm fat and I'm going to die, right? I was in a really bad mood, and then madness occurred. From nowhere, bloke in the counter, behind the counter, yawned. This bloke in front of him, who did not know him, popped his finger in his mouth and went, ooh, yawn rape, and I nearly died. Now, I've never seen a yawn rape before. I was like, well, you've just been a yawn rape. Did the man headbutt him? No, he didn't. He giggled and went, it's a good job I didn't fart, wasn't it? And you sat there, you know that proper huge belly laugh? They're great when they happen. I remember the first time I properly went, Ugh! My friend Tom, age 5, stood up in the middle of a nativity play and went, well, enough's enough. Heroic. But what made it even more heroic, he was the front end of a donkey. That's incredible, right? They're brilliant, aren't they, belly laughs, aren't they? When they leap out from nowhere. I could watch drunk people for hours. Don't you love it? You know when people are mischief pissed? You know, when they put like a bollard or a cone on top of a bus stop? How fantastic's that? I'm pissed. Fighting, nightclub, women. Nope, that bus stop needs a hat. He looks like a wizard, Dave. I've done it. 5 points to Gryffindor.